A big congrats to Connor Mozak winning the ARCA Menard Series race. The Craftsman Truck Series will be racing next. It's a great day of action out there in Kansas. Caitlin Vinci alongside David Reagan, Todd Bodine here in the FS1 studios. And Kansas, Todd, what a great place to have this elimination race, right?
Absolutely. I don't think you could pick a better track for elimination race. You know, this place is wide. The groove is all over. The drivers can make such a big difference in how their trucks handle and what they do. And then you got to have a good truck, too. But this place just lends itself to great racing. And the restarts, I know, David, you love the restarts. They're crazy, and these guys are going to get after it every time.
I love the restarts as long as my truck's driving good, so I can make it 3 wide, make it 4 wide. But we've had 2 short tracks to start this round off, and now finally we get to a 1.5 miles where these guys are going to be close to wide open for several laps. But as those tires wear out, they're going to have to move around. They're going to have to find some grip. They're going to start dragging a little bit of brake, playing with the throttle some, and that's when you'll see who has the best truck.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be very exciting as this race unfolds. And you mentioned the short tracks. Here's what the first round of races has looked like for the Craftsman Truck Series. IRP, of course, was the first one in the books. Ty Majeski got the victory there. Then we were off to Milwaukee, where Grant Enfinger got it done. And we end the round in the heartland at Kansas Speedway tonight, the 1.5 mile racetrack. So what does the leaderboard look like at this point in the round of 10 after race 2 of 3? Ty Majeski and Grant Enfinger, who I just mentioned, winners. They're moving on. Christian Eckes, Corey Heim, they're moving on by virtue of points as well. So the drivers below the cut line right now is Ben Rhodes and Matt DiBenedetto. And the pressure is on for these guys if you're anywhere near the cut line, not just the ones below it.
Yeah, everybody made the playoffs, and they all thought, hey, we got to have a good first round. We want to advance. It's all about getting to that final race at Phoenix and race for a championship, Caitlin. But these guys have so much pressure because they don't want to be the first man out. That they don't want to make the party, but be the first one to leave, So, yeah, and I still think that Ben Rhodes and Matt DiBenedetto, that they can have a good race tonight and maybe point their way in, try to win the race, but nobody wants to be the first one that says, all right, you're out for this round.
David, I always said as a race car driver, we make mistakes every single lap, right? Whether we drive in too high or too deep, too low, something, we don't use enough brake, we're going to make a mistake every lap. It's not a big one, but we're going to make it. Very few times you get perfect laps. Well, these guys in the playoffs, they can't afford mistakes at all. If they make a mistake, they're not going to the next round. What you just say, it's all about the next round right now and tonight.
It's going to be interesting to see who can go mistake-free tonight to try and secure a spot into the next round. Here is a look at the top 10 tonight on the grid. Chase Purdy, he's on the pole. He's a 3rd driver to win their first Truck Series pole this season. Nick Sanchez, meanwhile, starting on the front row for the 7th time this year. Ben Rhodes, he is currently below the playoff cut line. He will start 6th. And guys, notice only 4 playoff drivers are in that top 10 lineup, which lends itself to believe, Todd, that maybe a non-playoff driver could give these guys a run for their money, huh?
Why not?
Why not?
Right? There's a lot of great trucks that aren't in the playoffs. And I look at that board right there. Jake Garcia stands out to me. This young man has done a great job this year. Him and his crew chief, Mark Hillman, Bill McAnally Racing, they've really stepped up to the plate. And for the little experience that he has, he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Starting up front, got a fast truck tonight. See if he can get it done.
Chase Purdy starting on the pole. These guys want to play spoilers. That all the media, we all talk about the playoffs guys, who's got the momentum, who's going to go win this championship. But someone wants to say, hey, how about me? I can go win this race. So those KBM trucks, they came to play. All those trucks are really fast.
And they have extra thing to prove, right? Since they didn't make the postseason, everyone has a little extra motivation to make some noise.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, you want to always put your best foot forward this late in the season. And so this is a racetrack those Toyotas have run really good at, or the Chevrolets with KBM now. So that'd be a big win for those guys. 101, right?
That's right, 101. Okay, so the trucks last visited Kansas in the beginning of May. And let's take a look back at it. It was a bruising affair, as it was for a number of drivers. At the end of the day, though, Grant Enfinger, he rocketed to the front, leading 65 laps on the way to the victory. It was the first of 3 wins on the year for Grant. So he, of course, secured a spot to the round of 8 at the last race in Milwaukee. So good for Grant Enfinger. He is on a roll so far this season. And here are some numbers to know for you going into the race today. 11 straight top 10s for Corey Heim, 9 different winners in the last 9 races we have seen, and 2 last lap passes. So there's your numbers to know. Let's look once again at the playoffs leaderboard. Corey Heim, Christian Eckes locked into the next round via the points following Milwaukee. But what about Matt Crafton? However, he is not a lock, but he is in the 7th spot, 9 points to the good. His round of 10 so far, 9th at IRP and 5th out at Milwaukee. But misfortunes for him earlier today. Take a look at this guy. Afternoon in practice, Matt actually hit some debris after another truck got into the wall. Matt's 88. He sustained some damage, and after he and the team assessed the 88, they opted to go to a backup truck for tonight. So as a result, Matt did not turn a qualifying lap. He will start at the rear of the field. You see him looking there himself, assessing the damage on the truck. This definitely is not the way he would want his weekend to start out.
Yeah, visually it didn't look like there was much damage, Todd. It looked like a little scuff on the right side, the left front splitter worn off. But, you know, they spend hours just making every small detail of these race trucks perfect, and they obviously felt like there was just a little too much damage. So those guys have been working extremely hard, did not make a qualifying run. And if anyone can overcome this, it's Matt Crafton.
Absolutely.
And his back's been against the wall, it seems like, the last 3 months. But he's going to have a hard road in front of him tonight when he takes a green flag.
Well, we saw Matt underneath the back of the truck, and everybody said, well, what's he looking at? Well, Matt knows what he's looking at. He's built race cars, and he knows what he's doing. Under the back there, you know, you say it didn't look very bad, but when you get in the wall, probably bent the track bar mount or something like that, lower A-frame. Those are the things that you can't fix at the racetrack, a track bar mount. So they had to go that backup. But you're talking about Matt Crafton, right?
Yeah.
Statistically, he's not the best this year, but he has got mile-and-a-half racetracks down pat his whole career. It's going to be fun to watch him come from the back. As long as the truck's there, he'll get it done.
And what he'll do, he'll feel it out those first 30 laps. This first stage, it's all about staying on the lead lap, you know, making some good adjustments. And obviously, he'll catch some cautions throughout the race, be able to get that forward a little faster. But he can't afford, you know, an issue and go a lap down. That makes it extremely tough.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we see an early caution, they come down
right.
pit road to adjust it.
All eyes will be on Matt Crafton as he tries to make his way through the field and hopefully get one of those spots into the next round. So here's a look once again at the playoffs leaderboard. The guys in yellow we know will be advancing, but there's still 4 spots up for grabs, and we know those drivers are going to be dying to get those spots. All right, we got more coverage coming to you after this. Welcome back to Race Day with a look at the top 10 tonight on the grid for the Craftsman Truck Series race. Chase Purdy, he is on the pole. He's the 3rd driver to win their first Truck Series pole this season. Nick Sanchez, meanwhile, starts on the front row for the 7th time this year. Jesse Love, he makes his 2nd truck start of his career. He will roll off 9th. And speaking of Jesse Love, things did not go his way in that ARCA Menard Series race that just finished a bit ago. He got into the wall after cutting a tire and had to go behind the wall. That all happened on lap 21. So definitely some misfortunes for Jesse Love, who's been so strong, though, throughout the course of the season in the ARCA Menard Series. And he's a young driver. Another young driver is Nick Sanchez. We were just talking about his starting position. He has been so impressive this season.
Yes, 7th front row starting position tonight, and he's had so much speed. And when you talk about a young driver and learning, you know, their racecraft, developing into a great driver, the first thing you got to have, Todd, is speed. You got to be able to go fast, but then you slowly learn how to race, how to restart, how to get on and off pit road. And I think that Nick Sanchez is learning that. In Texas, he was so dominant, leading all of those laps, winning the stages, and he's racing for a win on a green-white checkered, tries to block Carson Hocevar, gets turned up, a hard impact in the wall. He deserved to win that race, but that's all part of a young kid learning how to take some of those defeats and turn them into something positive. But I've been super impressed with him this year.
Absolutely. And, you know, when you talk about learning, right? And he started the season off really fast. And I think part of that was because he didn't know what to expect. So he kind of was reserved a little bit, had the reins pulled back, running up front, running well, and he got a little carried away. He got in some trouble, had a rocky spot there for about 4 or 5 races. And I think crew chief Danny Stockman sat him down and said, look, kid, you're fast every week. You don't need to overdrive these trucks. Just do what you can do and take what it's going to give you. And guess what? It worked. After that section, he came out and he was strong and running up front with all that speed.
Yeah, Nick Sanchez, one of the drivers above the cut line going into the race tonight. Speaking of the leaderboard, let's take a look at it. After race 2 of 3, Ty Majeski, Grant Enfinger, the winners, Christian Eckes, Corey Heim, move on via points. Ben Rhodes and Matt DiBenedetto, the two drivers who are currently below the cut line. Kansas is the race tonight, and what a racetrack for an elimination event, because this is a tough one. Even though it's a mile and a half, it's not traditional.
Yeah, it's super fast. The track surface is starting to wear out, so we know who's going to be fast those first few laps when the tires are gripping and everyone's, hey, my car's feeling really good, my truck's feeling really good. But then after about 15 laps, what happens, Todd? Start slipping, start sliding. But hey, that sun's going down tonight. The track's going to be a lot different from what they practiced, so it'll be fun. We'll have a first-hand seat.
I'm looking forward to those restarts you talk about. Now, watching them on TV, it's a lot of fun, but I got to experience it last year at Las Vegas, and it's crazy when you're in the middle of those things. You don't know who's going where, and if you're 4 wide or 5 wide. So it's a lot of fun to watch, but not a lot of fun to be a part of.
There are many variables that these drivers are going to have to keep their hands around as it comes to this race tonight. We've got a ton of coverage coming your way. Race day, we're going to hear from a bunch of drivers, so make sure you keep it right here on FS1. Coverage coming to you after the break.
Tonight will be the end of someone's 2023 championship run.
You got to make sure you survive.
Last chance.
One chance for the
Last hope.
one hope can save us now. Our time for history, 'cause nothing can hold us down.
That's got to be a hero-like feeling for a driver.
A win could be what saves the season.
What do you feel for that young man?
But anything can happen here.
Yes!
So close.
Look at that mess. Oh, my
No,
goodness.
big one.
Only 4 spots up for grabs.
Oh, it's tight.
Figure out the spin.
And history is on the line.
We can be heroes.
This is the round of 10 elimination race in Kansas.
That will definitely get you fired up for an elimination race out at Kansas Speedway for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We're in the middle of the playoffs, and welcome in to race day. I'm Caitlin Vinci alongside David Reagan, Todd Bodine, and 4 spots on the line. 2 drivers are going home, and this is a great racetrack to host this elimination event, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely is. You know, Caitlin, I've been watching the docuseries Swamp Kings about the Florida Gators, and they're trying to win the national championship, and all the pressure on those young men to do that. And I got thinking, that's exactly what our playoff drivers are going through.
Exactly.
All this pressure trying to get to that next round. We got 6 guys that probably are going to make some mistakes tonight, not make it. But David, you know, we didn't race in the playoff era. We raced with regular points, right? So if we had one bad race, we said, okay, we got it behind us. We'll go to the next one. Well, these guys can't do that. They cannot afford a bad race tonight. 6 of them going for 4 spots. 2 of them are going to go home, not making it to the next round.
Yeah, talking about some of those college guys and all the pressure, well, we've got some kids that are racing in these
Young
playoffs. Elimination races are always stressful, not only for the drivers, but the crew chiefs, the crew guys, that last pit stop. But I can't imagine the pressure that these guys are on that are under that playoff line, because they don't just have to go out and be average tonight, Caitlin. They've got to go out and exceed expectations. They've got to get more done than those guys in front of them, so it's going to be fun to watch that.
Would you say earlier when the music stops, you needed chairs?
When the music, you've played the game
What does
before.
that say?
You know, musical chairs. I would be pushing Todd out of the way to make sure I had a seat.
Someone's not getting a chair.
Problem is 2 of them are going to have chairs for stops.
Yeah, that's
Chairless.
right.
All right, so how did we get to where we are at this point in the postseason? We're going to take a look at the drivers and teams who've gotten it done so far, and here's how it went. The playoff opener at IRP, it belonged to Ty Majeski getting his first win of the year, and then we went on to Milwaukee. That was Grant Enfinger, who was able to score the victory in his 3rd of the year so far. He has had a great season so far this year. So we know those 2 drivers who have won are advancing on to the round of 8, but some others will join them via virtue of points. So Corey Heim, Christian Eckes are also in the mix, but 4 spots remain as we enter the cutoff race. And you see 3-time series champion Matt Crafton. He's sitting 9 points above the cut line. Matt, though, facing an uphill battle before we even begin tonight. Take a look at this, guys. This afternoon in practice, Matt, he hit some debris after another truck got into the wall. So Matt's 88 sustained damage. And after he and the team assessed the 88, they opted to go to a backup truck for tonight. As a result, Matt did not turn a qualifying lap. He will start at the rear of the field, and you see him looking there into the truck himself, taking a look at that. So we'll have more on Matt later in the show. His teammate, meanwhile, Ty Majeski, he had to overcome issues of his own prior to the last race in Milwaukee. Ty had to start from the rear of the field and not for ideal reasons. We want to remind you of the issues they had. Found in pre-qualifying inspection for Ty Majeski's 98 ThorSport team in Milwaukee. So as a result, NASCAR hit the outfit with a loss of 75 points and 5 playoff points after NASCAR determined the team violated rules related to wheels and tires and the wheel assembly. So as a result, crew chief Joe Scheer Jr. is suspended for the next 4 Truck Series points events, which begins tonight. So that means Ty will not have his crew chief for the entirety of the second round of the playoffs. So this is not an ideal situation at all. What do you think this effect will have on the team?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. First thing, I think that Ty Majeski is one of the smartest drivers in the garage. He is very hands-on with his race trucks. He spends a lot of time at the ThorSport racing shop. He knows the shocks and the springs, the pull-down numbers, so he's in tune with that truck getting to the racetrack. But what makes a team strong is a crew chief who can kind of make those quick decisions on practice and qualifying, and even during the race tide when it comes time to do we pit, do we stay out, when do we pit, kind of following that. So Ty will miss that experience of Joe Scheer on the pit box. I don't know how that's going to roll through tonight. So I think the truck will have plenty of speed. He's going to be in good shape, but he's going to have to rise to the occasion and help out some.
Absolutely. He can do it for sure. The problem that I have with this is they didn't need to do this. Joe just didn't need to do it. They've had speed all year. We've seen it. Every race, win their way into the playoffs. And for Joe to take that chance, when you take that chance, you know what the consequences are.
Yeah.
You know you're going to get set down for 4 races. You're going to have a points penalty. They didn't need to do that. They're in the next round. Just go race the race and move on. That's the issue I had with it.
It'll be interesting to see if this presents any setback at all for that team as they move forward. Now, Matt DiBenedetto, he announced last week that after careful consideration, he has decided not to return to Rackley War for the 2024 race season. He continued to say that he's looking forward to what the future holds, and that as of right now, he doesn't have any 2024 plans, but he is exploring all options in all series. So we will be sad to see Matt D go from the Truck Series, but does this have any effect on him now and what he's trying to go after with the title?
Well, I don't know if it affects this run or not. Tonight they just got to win, so they're going to go out and do the best they can. Matty's a great driver. He'll put it behind him, not think about it. The team, the same thing. Chad Kendrick, the crew chief, he's going to call the race the same way, so that's not going to affect it. And I'm really sad to see Matty go. I think that if he could have stuck around for another year, this team's getting better all the time. Chad's doing a great job with it, getting faster, getting better setups. I think he might have been in the position next year to run for the championship. So, best to him, whatever he decides to do.
Yeah, they've done a good job growing this team, making the playoffs for the first time. Matt had a top 10 at Charlotte Motor Speedway earlier in the season, the last mile-and-a-half racetrack that we were at in the Truck Series. But I agree with you, Todd. I don't think they have the pure raw speed to go out and lead the most laps and dominate this race. But you got to pull that rabbit out of the hat sometimes, and maybe that's running long on a long green flag run, maybe taking tires when other cars don't. So they're going to have to work through that, but they're going to be doing all they can.
We'll be watching Matt D to see if he can make his way into the next round of the postseason. Now, Carson Hocevar last weekend was once again back behind the wheel of a Cup Series car, this time at Darlington, where he finished 17th in the 42 car for Legacy Motor Club. That is his second start this season and a career best for him in the Cup Series. He will be back in the 42 car this weekend at Kansas and Bristol, and we will hear from him later in the show. Carson is starting back in 17th for tonight. And speaking of that starting lineup, the front of the grid has a number of non-playoff drivers in the mix for tonight. Chase Purdy sits on the pole for the first time in his Truck Series career. Alongside him is Mr. Front Row playoff driver Nick Sanchez. It's the 7th time the rookie has started on the front row this season, and a lot of eyes on row 3 and the 6th starting position of Ben Rhodes. Ben currently one of the drivers below the cut by 3 points going into the race tonight. All right, still to come here on race day. Ben Rhodes is always strong on the mile-and-a-half tracks. How will he fare today? He joins us from the track next. Plus, Carson Hocevar is on the verge of advancing on to the round of 8. We check in with Carson from Kansas when we return. And Zane Smith, he's the reigning champ in the series. Can he go 2 for 2 in titles? We're going to sit down, Zane, when we return. Plenty more race day coming to you after this. Stay with us. Welcome back to Race Day from the lovely city of Kansas. And guys, it's known for this, the barbecue. You like that, right?
You know, that looks pretty. It's not as good as Georgia barbecue, Caitlin. It's close.
All right, David. Then we're coming to your house. You're going to cook us some Georgia barbecue.
Ooh, I could try. I could try. Okay.
All right, so we're back on a mile-and-a-half track for the first time since Charlotte, all the way back in May. And we want to remind you how that race went down. So take a look at this. It was the past champion of Ben Rhodes who was able to lead 37 laps and get the victory in NASCAR's backyard. His one win so far this season, but it was a big one with a big check as well. So here's how he shapes up in terms of the playoffs leaderboard. He is currently on the outside looking in, 3 points below the line. And this is what his round has looked like so far. 2 16th place efforts out there at IRP and Milwaukee. And we're so excited, though, now to have Ben Rhodes joining the Race Day show with us now out at Kansas Speedway. He is with us. Great to see you, as always. And we were just talking about the fact you won out on a mile-and-a-half track out at Charlotte. So is your confidence high going into this event tonight?
Yeah, I would say the confidence is pretty high. We've got Christian Eckes, who's going to be pushing me on the start of the race, too, right off the bat. So qualified 6th. I'm pretty happy with that. Last time we were here, we qualified 5th. I would rather take the outside line, and we were able to get to the lead right away within like 5 laps. So, yeah, I'm just glad to be back on a mile-and-a-half. That seems like it's our strong suit for this season. The short tracks we've struggled with.
So, Ben, it looks like you've got a fast truck for tonight, but you are sitting under that playoff cutoff line at the moment. So your crew chief, Brian Ross, he's going to have all that information throughout the night, points as you run. Do you want to know a lot of that information throughout the night, or do you just want to go run your race and let the chips fall where they fall?
A little bit of both. I think the best strategy for me, what's worked in the past, is to just focusing on my own race. I know who I'm racing, so as long as I stay ahead of them, I mean, we can mix it up a little bit, but for the most part, I need to be ahead of them the whole night. And then finally, the last stage, I'll finally ask for an update. But for the most part, I want to be left alone until we really have let the dust settle. All the stage points have been awarded. Then we've got a good picture of what we need to do.
So Ben, you got to race Nick Sanchez, and of course you're racing your teammate Matt Crafton, right? Rah rah rah, go team go, and all for one for all that malarkey, right? Come on, let's get real now. How much information has gone back and forth between your teams because you're racing each other for this spots?
Well, it's been probably our best race for sharing information, actually. I know that Haley Deegan, Matt Crafton, and myself all have very similar packages here, probably the closest we've ever gone to a track together. You know, and the unique thing that we have between myself and Matt is that Matt has what was my crew chief at the beginning of the year, Jared Prince. So, I mean, the sharing of information between our two teams, it's almost like we're the same team. So it does make it tough for a guy in my position, right, to try to race the guy who's, you know, racing with a truck that's one and the same. But unfortunately for Matt, you know, he's starting the back now in a backup truck. So, you know, I really hope he's able to get to the front and get all the points he needs. You know, my eyes are firmly fixed on Nick Sanchez.
Well, Ben, let's assume that you race your way in and look forward to that next round. What are some things that your team specifically needs to improve on to make sure you can punch that ticket to Phoenix?
Yeah, I think our short track and our flat track stuff is a little lackluster. You know, our teammate Ty Majeski, those guys have figured out a really good package, but we can't seem to get the stuff to work for us. So we've got to do something to make that right. And of course, at the end of the season, it's Phoenix, and that's, you know, that's the race that all that comes into play. It's a short track, it's flat, it's kind of the mix of both of those elements, and that's just what we struggled on. I mean, Milwaukee, Richmond was so-so. You can go back to, I mean, name a short track, right? And that's been our pain point. So we're going to work on that. I'm glad Talladega's in the next round, though, because if we make it through, I think we've done well there year over year.
You had a really strong race at Kansas earlier this season. You said at Media Day you thought you could have won. So what did you learn from that event that will help you tonight?
Yeah, it's not very often that you get a truck that you feel you're really capable of winning with, like going out and leading laps and just making it happen. A lot of times you just need a top 5 truck and you can try to pull something off. You know, I feel like we're on the same path as the spring race. The spring race, we led a bunch of laps early, but we got caught up when pit road shuffled us to the back of the pack. We got caught up in a wreck, right? So that's what we need to avoid tonight. Stuff that we can't necessarily control, but we can try to help change the outcome, managing risk and putting ourselves in positions that are up towards the front where maybe we're not fighting so hard for each and every position.
Well, Ben, it is great to hear from you. We are wishing you all the best out there tonight in Kansas. Good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you all.
Always good to hear from Ben Rhodes. Now, the trucks last visited Kansas in the beginning of May, and it was a rushing affair. It was for a number of drivers. At the end of the day, Grant Enfinger rocketed to the front, leading 65 laps on the way to the victory. It was the first of 3 wins on the year for Grant. He, of course, secured a spot to the round 8 of the last race in Milwaukee. Great effort so far from that team. And Kansas Speedway is a 1.5-mile track, but it's unique in its own right, proving time and time again that it has its fair share of challenges for drivers and teams alike. We had the drivers weigh in on Kansas.
Great night for racing. Here we go.
Kansas is exciting.
Kansas is fun.
Kansas is hard but rewarding.
Sanchez hanging tough. 2-truck making it work.
Kansas is a great intermediate track. One of my favorite racetracks, if not my favorite.
Love that racetrack, the way it races.
Kansas is a track that I think we could have had a win at earlier this year.
All I think about when I hear Kansas is I ran out of fuel running second in a must-win spot.
He's trying to get into the playoffs.
I think I was a couple points down last year and went into Kansas on the outs. So it's exciting, and it kind of brings the best out in you.
After this night is complete, 2 of our championship contenders will be eliminated.
I think I would change my approach a little bit with it being a playoff race. Going back there, I would definitely drive a bit harder.
We struggled a little bit earlier this year, but it has been a place we've won at 3 times, so hopefully we can go do it again.
Don't count the old cat out yet.
Hopefully have a big enough points buffer to where we could go chase the trophy.
This is going to be fun.
Kansas is the perfect place to end a round for the Craftsman Truck Series playoffs.
Let's go get ourselves in a position to be champions this year.
So that's what those drivers think. I want to know what these 2 drivers think about Kansas. How do you attack this racetrack? Because it is a tough one.
Well, as a driver, the first thing you do is you hold that gas pedal to the floor as long as you can. But racetrack's starting to get wore out. You can only do that for a few laps at a time with new tires. But for a driver, it's a lot of fun to race here because you can make a tremendous difference in how your truck handles through the course of a run. It starts pushing, you can move around, it gets loose, you move up to the wall. There's so many things that drivers in control of. And that's what makes it fun for a driver, right? You go out there and you can make a difference. Of course, you still got to have a good truck, get the best truck you can, but understanding this racetrack, and especially when the sun gets down, it's going to be totally different than what they had today. How do you adjust on it? Which way do you go? That's a big thing.
Yeah, they practiced in the afternoon, Todd, and it was hot and slick. They're going to go green when the track is under shade. But what is great about this track is you have options. You know, any track that you can have options where if you're a little on the tight side, a little on the loose side, you can move around. But these restarts are always crazy. You've got that wide apron down the front straightaway. So if you get a little bit of a run, you can make it 3 wide. You can make it 4 wide. You see the truckers right there. They're below that white line getting into turn 1. But as Todd said earlier, you can hold it to the floor for a couple of laps and use that momentum. But once the tires start getting some temperature in them, Caitlin, you lose some of that grip and you'll have to start moving around.
It is a 1.5-mile track, but plenty to keep drivers busy when it comes to this race today. So 11 straight top 10s for Corey Heim. These are the numbers to know. 9 different winners in the last 9 races, and we've had 2 last lap passes. So those are your 3 numbers to know going into the event tonight at Kansas. And so to come here on race day, Carson Hocevar has been very busy running Cup and trucks lately. We will check in with Carson from the track to hear his mindset for tonight. Plus, it's a game of prime time for the playoffs. Our analysts offer their coaching for Nick Sanchez, Matt Crafton, and Ty Majeski. All of that is coming up next. Welcome back to Race Day with a look at Nick Sanchez's truck, one of the playoff contenders, a rookie starting second for the race out at Kansas momentarily. And where is Nick in terms of the playoffs leaderboard? Take a look at it here. He is +3 to the good. Here's his round of 10 so far, 11th at IRP and a 24th place effort, though, at Milwaukee. So let's talk about Nick Sanchez. Does he advance on, David? Yes or no? What do you say?
I think he does.
Okay.
I think he does. I think he's got enough speed in that truck, and he's not in a must-win situation at all. He just has to go and run his race. He's got the front row start. You know, he doesn't have anybody in front of him. I think he'll get a lot of stage points. He just can't make any mistakes. He can't find himself in the garage when the checkered flag falls.
Yeah, no.
Well, and I think that's the one thing Nick has done really well after, like I talked, He had that rough spot. Since that point, he's done a great job of getting to the end of the races, not making mistakes, not putting himself in bad positions to take himself out of races. So he's definitely going to finish this race, just going to be if enough points to get in.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on Nick Sanchez to see if he can move on to the next round. Now we're going to go out to Kansas Speedway, to the racetrack, and say hello to a driver who is standing by, and that would be Carson Hocevar. And first off, Carson, I want to say congrats on a great run at Darlington in the Cup Series. You've been so impressive every time you've been over there. And you're 56 to the good when it comes to the standings in trucks. You feel like you got a really good shot to advance on? Is this a done deal for you, what?
I mean, it's pretty much a done deal. They had one truck not even going to start the race, and all I had to do was start 35th. So I think I'm locked, but Bob hasn't told me yet. So we take all our news from Bob around here. But ultimately, I think our truck's going to be a lot better than 35th. So I'm sure we'll have a really good shot of locking in. And more than anything, we're looking to get more playoff points by having a shot to win.
Well, we look forward to watching you, no doubt about it. And hey, you did some pit road reporting earlier this year, and we're just going to send you with the microphone to find some drivers. I think I saw Nick Sanchez nearby. Can you go interview him for me? Do you mind?
Perfect.
Hopefully Carson
Nick Sanchez, Carson Hocevar with FS1. I qualified 17th, so they half fired me from my racing job. I need to learn. So this is my way of getting close with the competition. What do you got for the front row?
I don't know. It was pretty good. Held it wide open in qualifying, and that was that. So truck's good. Just got to close it out.
You said you were going to dominate. Last time you dominated, I won. How are you going to hold me off? And if you are going to dominate, I really hope you do the same block she did. So hopefully have you learned your lesson?
Yeah, you could have every lap. You could lead. You could win every stage. I'll just take the last lap. So I do not want to repeat that.
All right, fantastic. Zane Smith, Carson Hocevar. I qualified near you. What do you got?
I don't know. I really haven't lifted much since I've been here, so I feel like we're pretty good. This is my Texas truck. Do you know a thing or two about what happened there?
Actually, me and Nick just talked about it. He said he was going to dominate this race. Last time he dominated, I literally talked to them about it. So can you be in the same scenario with kind of like a sequel? And I'll run third to y'all for most of the day.
How about you get hooked and I come through and win the race?
Right on. Well, good luck to that. We'll work on that. Hopefully, I didn't see the script yet, so we'll look at that. Chris Jackish, I don't know what you got there.
It's a breathe the right strip, kind of, but not a breathe the right strip.
A what?
It's magnets. I don't know. I'm gonna try it this time.
For what? Do you put it in your mouth or something? You put it on your nose. I got you. Well, how is that going to impact your race today?
Probably not at all, but we're gonna try it.
Right on. Well, good luck to you. Breathe normally. Breathe good. Corey Heim, how you doing? What do you got? You're about where I was in qualifying. What do you got?
We're a little slow in qualifying, but I think we'll race good. Same as the spring. Just kind of one of those places you're not pushing the pedal hard enough if you're not going.
All right, you're getting sung off. Good luck to y'all. Thank y'all. Thanks for me. I stole it again. See y'all in the booth.
If the racing thing doesn't work out, he has a future in TV, don't you think, Todd?
Absolutely. He's a natural. Hey, Carson. He's not. He's giving it away.
He's got to go to work.
I had a good question for him too. Oh well.
Well, what do you think we'll see out of him today, huh?
He's 17th, starting 17th. He's not going to stay there.
Right.
That's obvious. They've been too good the last 4, 5, 6, 7 races, really. They just top 5 trucks, top 10 trucks. Carson's done a great job not making mistakes. But I tell you, you talked about him running the Cup races. I really think that him racing those races, he's learned a lot about his racecraft and how to race these races from those Cup cars. You don't have to win every lap. And I think he's figured that out, and it's translated into his truck. And you watch him; he'll slowly, methodically make his way to the front.
And that's not the Carson Hocevar we knew a year or two ago, Todd. And in the last 10 races, he's got 8 top 5s. And you have to have a lot of speed, but you've got to be making really good decisions on the racetrack. That Nice Motorsports team, they're giving him a fast truck, Caitlin, to be up front. And I think he's got as much momentum as anyone. He's obviously smiling and having fun.
Yeah.
And that's important,
very
too.
relaxed.
Going to talk about all this pressure. He didn't have a whole lot of pressure. He's ready to rock and roll.
He's giving some of those drivers a hard time, too, in those interviews.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, good for Carson Hocevar playing along with us, doing some pit road reporting. All right, we still have more race day coming up after this. There's Matt Crafton. We've talked about him. Some misfortune for their team so far starting out. We'll see what they can do in the race today. And Zane Smith, we just heard from him, but we got a special sit down with Zane to talk about the potential to get another title in the Truck Series. All that and more is coming up next. Welcome back to Trucks Race Day from Kansas. And a number of the trucks in the field tonight are honoring Martin Truex Jr.'s foundation and NASCAR's foundation, Cancer Heroes. Cancer Heroes are those who are fighting cancer or who have unfortunately lost their lives. It is a special honor from NASCAR and the drivers tonight in Kansas. And the 11 is carrying Tori Costa, the daughter of crew chief Scott Cipodelli. And speaking of Corey Heim, let's look at the playoffs leaderboard. Corey Heim and Christian Eckes are locked into the next round via points following the last race in Milwaukee. Matt Crafton, however, is not a lock, but he is in the 7th spot, 9 to the good. His round of 10 so far, 9th at IRP and a 5th place out at Milwaukee. So let's talk about Matt Crafton's chances to advance on. He's got a lot of wins out at Kansas. What do you think?
Well, it's going to be tough. Let's just put it out there. It's going to be tough starting last. But, you know, out of the guys in the playoffs that aren't locked in, Matt has the worst statistic this year on mile and a half. So only one top 10. It has not been typical Matt Crafton. But historically, Matt's been one of the best we've had on mile and a half racetracks. So he knows how to get it done. And unfortunately, being in a backup truck, they have no idea what they have, what they're going to start with. And that's going to hurt a lot to start this race. But as they go, get it adjusted, and they can get it up there. You know, he ran something over, got the flat tire into the wall. You know, and unfortunately, they didn't get any laps on that other truck. That's the bad thing.
It's going to be so tough. When he goes into turn 1 on that first lap, he's not going to know what to expect, Todd. That's the first lap that he'll make in that truck. But a team like ThorSport, they're prepared. They can get this truck as close as they can. And Matt Crafton, he's not going to do anything crazy. He knows that he needs to make it to that first stage break or even the first caution. Make some adjustments. His back's been against the wall the whole season.
Times, yep.
So maybe this is normal for him, and maybe he thrives off of this.
Yes.
That's right.
We're going to have to keep an eye on Matt Crafton as he tries to make his way to the front of the field. Now, tomorrow on Fox, Coach Prime makes his home debut as his number 22 Colorado squad takes on Nebraska in a big noon Saturday showdown. And then later in prime time, it's a shootout between 13th-ranked Oregon and Texas Tech, followed by Stanford taking on reigning Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams and number 6 USC. That is all on Fox and the Fox Sports app. So speaking of Coach Prime, how about we play a little prime time for the playoffs? And the two of you are going to be the coaches playing his role, and I'm going to tee you up on these different drivers and how you would coach them to move on to the next round. So let's start with the guy we were just referencing, Matt Crafton. You're coaching him. What do you say to driver 88? What do you got? Yeah.
All right, Crafton, here's the deal, all right? I don't care that we're in a backup truck. You are a 3-time champ. You go out there and you drive it like you stole it. You drive through the field, you get the points, go up there and get the win.
Hey, wow, I am impressed.
That's how you coach it up right there.
I don't think he had it in him to do that.
Just like Coach Prime did for those Colorado team. I almost said they didn't think we would be here. They didn't think we would make the playoffs. We made the playoffs. They don't think we're going to advance this round. We're going to do it. We're +9. They're the ones behind us. They got to come and get us. I would say, hey, Matt, we're putting it on your shoulders tonight. Go get it done.
He's got a little softer coaching voice than you. All right, Nick Sanchez. What about this driver? He is currently above the cut line. David, what are you saying to him to coach him up?
Yeah, I'm saying, Nick, you're the fastest rookie out here. You keep sitting on the front row week after week, and I tell you what, Nick, it's your night. It's your night to get that victory. I'm going to be here for you. I'm going to make the right calls. I'm going to give you the best set of tires that last stage. Go out and get the checkered flag.
There you go. What do you say to that, Todd?
I say, Sanchez, you are the best rookie on this racetrack. You go out there, you've been fast all year long, you've learned your lessons, you're up front, you're starting on the front row, you got a fast truck, get it done.
Oh, boy, he is intimidating. I'm kind of scared of you on the show today.
These kids, you got to go at him, you know?
He's ready.
What about this driver, Ty Majeski? Now, he is moving on, we know that, but lost his crew chief from the penalties, so they are in a unique situation. How do you pep him up for this?
Well, I'm going to go a little easier on Ty, all right? Okay. I like Ty. Look, Ty, here's the deal, all right? We don't have our leader for the next 4 races. Everybody's counting us out. Say, we can't do this. Guess what? We got a fast truck tonight. We got a great race team. We got a great driver. There is no reason we cannot go out and win this race. Show them that this setback is not going to affect this race team.
Yeah.
He has a softer voice for Ty Majeski.
You know,
I
I think I would put my arm around Ty, and I'd say, look in here, Ty. You don't have your crew chief, but you're just as smart as these guys. You know what to do. You know what adjustments to make to this Ford F-150. You got a good starting spot. You know how to win, and guess what? You just save the receipt. You know, that's what Deion Sanders said. He just said, just save the receipt because we'll pay you double when you win in advance. Because we don't have to pay Joe anymore, do we? Or we still got to pay the crew chief?
He's still on the payroll.
Yeah, we still got to pay him. But I'd say, Ty, you got it under control. Let's go get it done.
Well done. These were our primetime coaches. Nice job coaching up these drivers. Now we go to our primetime voices in the booth, calling all the action out at Kansas Speedway. And we say hello to Jamie Little, Phil Parsons, and Michael Waltrip. What are you guys looking forward to with this race tonight?
Thank you, Caitlin. I like the Coach Prime. That game, by the way, was amazing. But I want to know what you guys, as driver coaches, would say if your driver is 1, Nick Sanchez, 3 to the good, or if you're Ben Rhodes and you're 3 on the negative end. What would you say, and who would you coach?
I'm going to coach Nick Sanchez. I love what the guys in the studio were saying, but Nick Sanchez has been fast. He dominated the race at Texas a mile and a half till getting crashed on the last lap. He's had 4 poles this year. We know he's fast. I think the key for Nick Sanchez, he's got a lot of experience here at this racetrack. He's won twice in the ARCA series here at this racetrack. He's an ARCA Menards champion from last year. But remember, Danny Stockman is his crew chief. Danny Stockman has leveled him out. He's getting the consistent finishes. Danny Stockman's a former champion crew chief in this series, as well as the Xfinity series. Danny Stockman's the key. He's going to keep him cool on the box and make good adjustments.
So what would you say? Shut up and listen to your crew chief. He knows what he's doing.
Yes.
Okay, Michael.
I'm scared. You're telling Phil to shut up or the crew chief to shut up? I just want to tell you, I love Ben Rhodes. He's a Kentucky guy. I'm a Kentucky guy. He's a former champion. He's won the championship before, Phil. He knows exactly what he's got to do. He's got to keep his eyes not just on Nick Sanchez, but the whole field. He's thinking win. It's been a struggle for him lately, but in practice today and in qualifying, solid, fast. I really love his experience, and I think Ben Rhodes gets the receipt. That's a good thing, right?
He hangs on to the receipts. And you know what?
He keeps the receipts.
He keeps those receipts, and he's good under pressure. So I like where you're going with that, Michael. It'll be fun to watch. It's all coming up at 9 Eastern, Caitlin.
You got to keep those receipts, guys. Thanks so much. Great insight there. We look forward to hearing you all call the race tonight. And let's take a look now where the playoff guys will be rolling off for the race tonight. Nick Sanchez, the best of the group, starting second. Ty Majeski there in third. Ben Rhodes, who Michael was just talking about, will start sixth. One of the drivers below the cut line. Matt DiBenedetto is also below the cut line. He is starting 11th. Matt Crafton, the worst of the group, starting 31st after those issues earlier today at the track. All right, coming up here on race day, we are going to sit down the reigning champion of Zane Smith, who's had the highs and lows throughout the course of the season. A 2-time winner, though, already on the year. Does he think his team has what it takes to win title number 2? We find out next. Welcome back to Race Day from Kansas Speedway, and there is the reigning champion of Zane Smith, starting 14th for the race today. We'll see if he can get another win out there tonight. And his season numbers so far, he's had the 2 wins, but he's definitely had his share of highs and lows throughout the course of the year so far. You see the finishes a little all over the map. So we did sit down Zane to talk the trials and tribulations of his 2023 season, and if he thinks he can repeat with a consecutive Truck Series title.
Close it. Yeah. Zane Smith has won here at Daytona.
Very uncharacteristic to have trouble for that team.
Back-to-back for Zane Smith at Circuit of the Americas.
Zane Smith had an up-and-down season for sure.
This year has been a lot more ups and downs, to say the least. We're still bringing a lot of speed to the racetrack, and we're either about to win a race or winning the race or wrecked out. It's been really impressive on some runs that we've had this year where we'll start the race and be really bad, and then after one stop we'll have a race-winning truck. So I feel like that's where you need to be as a team, is when you're off, we know how to get to where we need to be, and we've proven that.
No one panic about Zane Smith.
Kansas is arguably probably my favorite racetrack to go to. I love the area, how much the track changes from temperature. I just feel like the amount of lanes and options that you have to work with just provides some great racing. Our biggest focus is one, winning the race and hopefully getting a stage win or two, but ultimately advancing to the next round. So it'd be great to get this win, advance in, but I don't know, at the same time, I need to focus on collecting as many playoff points as possible and getting to the round of 8.
Here comes Zane Smith.
Can he go back-to-back?
I don't see why we can't go back-to-back. We have the same exact group. I think we plan on bringing the same exact truck that we won the championship with, so I'm excited for that opportunity, but that starts in Kansas. We need to advance to the next round and get to the Final Four in the first place. There's definitely that monkey off my back of knowing that I've won that championship. Then again, there's a huge weight on my shoulders and a lot of pressure that comes with this. Is probably going to be my last year in the Truck Series, and I really want to go back-to-back and walk off into the sunset with a championship.
Well, it's a mighty hard living, but a damn good feeling to run these roads.
How I live my life and how I approach everything is I'm in the now right now. So yes, in the back of my head, I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to be doing come the future, but all my focus and 110% of myself is focusing on winning this championship and winning this weekend in Kansas, and we're ready for it. But like I said, there's a long road ahead.
Damn good feeling to run these roads.
Little Tyler Childers music there to close out that interview. Loved hearing from Zane. Do you think he's primed to go after another title in trucks?
Well, where's the championship race at? Phoenix?
That's right.
Finished second, and first.
There you go.
I think he's got a shot if he can get there. You know, Zane is, if it depends what measuring stick you use for Zane this year. If you're going to talk about speed, yeah, they've had speed. They've had speed for 2.5 years now. That is not a question. He knows how to get it done. They bring fast trucks. Now, if you're going to measure him by consistency, this has been a tough year for him for consistency. We saw that graph. It's been up and down. It looks like a sawtooth blade there. It's not been a solid year for him. But the thing is, every time he gets in these playoffs, they rise to another level. Right now, he's only got 29 points. I think he's okay.
Yeah, there are 3 races at a time, and to your point, he's had some speed, but there's something just in my gut that says they just aren't performing at that level they were 1 year ago. I know they could go out and win tonight, but they just haven't been consistent. And you look at someone like Grant Enfinger, who has been consistent, who got a win a few weeks ago at Milwaukee. I feel like he's kind of on that other path. He's got a little bit better average finish than Zane, a 9.1 to 12.2, but Grant Enfinger has not finished outside of the top 20 at all this year. He has 0 DNFs, and so he may even lack a little bit of speed at times, but they're like that steady engine that can. They just keep rolling.
You know what I really like about Grant Enfinger besides his driving? I like his crew chief, Jeff Hensley.
There you go.
Got a lot of experience on the box, and he understands how to do it.
Grant Enfinger looked very calm and collected there, doing a FaceTime call or something, getting set for the race. We do still have more race day coverage coming to you after this. We've had a lot of fun today, guys. Ben Rhodes hanging out with us. Carson Osafar has been a pit road reporter. There's Matt Crafton and his son. They're getting set for the big race. Matt's got a couple wins at Kansas, hoping to get another one. Our picks coming up after this.
About the way it goes, never one for letting go. No, we ain't the same. I'm thinking how I'm gonna get it.
That certainly will get you ready for Kansas tonight. And what about this driver?
Yeah, look at that. The 22-year-old mile-and-a-half phenom, Nick Sanchez. Watch for him tonight.
The phenom. I like that. It's the first time we've heard that word on the show today. What about Ben Rhodes? What are you thinking for him, David?
Yeah, Ben Rhodes rolling off 6 tonight. We talked to him earlier, and I like his attitude and his outlook on tonight. He's -3 on that cut line, so he's got to have a good race.
He certainly does. And speaking of the race, it's time now for us to go ahead and make our race picks, who we believe can get it done out in the Heartland tonight. And you're up first, Todd.
I just mentioned him.
You did?
Mile-and-a-half phenom, Nick Sanchez.
I love
the
that.
The kid's been phenomenal on mile-and-a-halves. He's fast. He's starting on the front row. Get back. He's going to take the win tonight.
What do you say to
I
that?
don't know about that. I'm going with Ty Majeski. And I know he doesn't have his crew chief, but he's already got a win. He can lay it out on the line tonight. Ty Majeski is going to be in victory lane.
My pick, we heard from him earlier today on the show, and that would be Ben Rhodes. I think he gets it done. He gets the win, and he moves on to the next round. So these are 3 solid picks. We're going to have to see how they fare momentarily, but we're getting closer to racing, so time to go trackside for pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise as you're able and remove your hats as the Shawnee Mission North Navy Junior ROTC Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Here to offer tonight's invocation, please welcome from Bristol Hill United Methodist Church, Pastor Yolanda Byers.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we thank you. We give thanks for this joyous event. We ask your protection over the drivers to keep them safe from injury as they compete. In your name we pray. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome the Harper House Choir.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Very nice anthem. Okay, what's the intensity going to be like for the start of this race, guys?
Yeah, the sun's already going down, so you know the track's gripping up, and it's time for these drivers to get it done.
Beautiful night in Kansas for a truck race.
Elimination.
All right, let's go. Elimination race. Time now to say hello to the voices in the booth calling the action in Kansas, and say hello to Jamie Little.
Thank you, Caitlin Vinci. We are ready to go, and we welcome you to Kansas City, Kansas for round 3 of the playoffs. This is the Craftsman Truck Series Elimination Night.
The gem of the Midwest is back for a second time this season. This time it's the cutoff as the round of 10 is coming to an end. The road ahead is a bumpy one for these playoff drivers. Challenges to come, and the anticipation so far makes these high-stakes elimination rounds all the more exciting. Even though 2 drivers are locked in, a couple of others are towing that cutoff line. Could a returning winner dominate once again, or will a new face take the field by surprise? This Midwest madness will have everyone hungry for the trophy. Welcome to the Heartlands on FS1.
Well, that just set the tone for tonight. That gets me fired up. We're excited to go racing under the lights, and we're happy to have you with us. We've already had a busy day right here on FS1, but it's all about the truckers now, and we welcome you. I'm Jamie Little. He's Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip, and we have been talking about this night. It's elimination night. I know it's a little negative connotation for you, Mikey, but Phil, we are going from 10 drivers down to 8. So who are you watching? Who makes it? Who's out?
Well, there was so much drama at the end of the regular season when we pared it down to 10 drivers to make the playoffs. Same situation tonight. We have 10 drivers. There's only going to be 8 spots. 2 guys are going to be left out. They're going to be sent home. But the good news for these drivers is 10 times in elimination races as drivers below the cut line won their way in or pointed their way in. You can see right there, Ben Rhodes, 3 below, Matt DiBenedetto, 20 below. Those are the guys right now on the outside looking in. You see Matt Crafton. He's never missed the playoffs. He's 9 to the good. Nick Sanchez, a great rookie season, 3 to the good. And then there's Ben Rhodes and Matt DiBenedetto. All these drivers have the work cut out for them. They're going to have to keep their eye on the points, the stages, and their strategy. It's going to be fun to watch.
A lot going on. But Michael, the best thing about the NASCAR playoffs, if you have a favorite driver that didn't make it, well, he still has a chance to shine and be the star. So who else are you keeping an eye on?
Yeah, it's not like the Detroit Tigers, who aren't going to get to keep playing baseball just because they're not very good.
That's just wrong. That's just wrong.
It's not like that at all. Look at Chase Purdy. He sat on the pole. Chase has had a great season. He didn't make the playoffs, but second at Texas earlier this season, and he's just been solid ever since then, getting better week in and week out. So watch for Chase Purdy. I want to promise you two one thing. He doesn't care about elimination night. All he's thinking about is making a name for himself here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and going to victory lane. Just like Jack Wood is. Career best start for Jack right up front. He's got a great opportunity to go out and turn some heads. Let people see what he's about and how he can drive one of these trucks. And if you don't love love, you don't love Jesse Love. This kid has won 9 ARCA races this season. He is destined to be in the Truck Series next year, or maybe even Xfinity. No telling what's next for him. So there's a lot of great names that are out here that aren't a part of this championship battle, but they don't care. They just want to go get a victory and make people know who they are.
Well, no doubt Jesse Love will be in the mix at some point tonight, maybe all night long. But I'll tell you what, our pit reporters, they have been busy already today. We welcome in Heather DeBow, Amanda Busick. Good evening, Amanda.
Hey, Jamie, and as you were talking about drivers that have their work cut out for them tonight, that's that guy right there, Ben Rhodes. He comes in 3 points behind this elimination cut. And when I talked to him about what it means tonight, he said, I got to use situational awareness tonight and knowing where my competitors are. I'm not going to jump into that all or nothing mentality until 20 laps to go and being able to prepare for what needs to happen for me to make it into round 2. Said he's been here. He's done that. He doesn't mind the intensity. He will start 6th tonight, Heather, as he tries to make it in. And playoff contender Matt Crafton will have the most work to do here at the start of the race. The reason is during practice, he hit debris, blew a tire, and crashed into the wall hard, which led him to be unable to qualify. The team had to go to a backup truck, and it was prepared only 85%, so they took everything they could from the primary to this racetrack to get him ready for tonight. And when I asked Matt his mindset on moving through the field, he said he's just going to drive it like he stole it. Let's send it over to the pre-race stage for the command to fire engines.
And now, race fans, here to say the most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome host of the Papa Ron podcast, Ronnie Phillips.
Kansas Speedway, let's party on a Friday night! Drivers, start your engine!
Ronnie Phillips dropping the hammer. That's the way you fire him up. We'll have green flag racing here at Kansas Speedway. Coming up next, will it be Zane Smith, Corey Heim, or someone else? Welcome back to Kansas Speedway. Trucks on their warm-up lap. We're excited for tonight. It's the 3rd race of round 1 of the Craftsman Truck Series playoffs. Let's take a look at our Craftsman Truck Series starting lineup. How did we get here? We mentioned Chase Purdy on the pole for the first time in his career. 71st start today was a big day for him.
And Phil talked about Nick Sanchez, just qualifying machine right up front. Jack Wood touched on him. Ty Majeski, watch this truck. He was so fast in practice. Jake Garcia, another great story, Phil. There's so many good stories in the truck series.
Ben Rhodes was really fast in practice, had the best average of everybody.
What about Haley Deegan, top 10 starting position there alongside Christian Eckes? What do you say we try the radio, see if we can talk to Matt Crafton? Matt's got it stacked up against him right now, starting in the back. Hit him up, Phil. Hey, Matt Crafton, Waltrip, and the Fox team. Do you copy?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Well, buddy, we were texting earlier today, and you said it's go or go home. You know what's ahead of you. How do you attack this race knowing that you're in a backup truck starting in the back?
I've been told by a pretty wise guy before, just go where they're not. So you're going to see this bright yellow truck just going where they're not all night tonight and just giving it hell.
Well, I want to tell you, it was beautiful to watch you go where they weren't in Milwaukee. You just took some unique lines, and this track offers up so many opportunities to run all over the track. So I know you're looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, it's been a good place to us, and hopefully it's going to be a real good place to us tonight and ready to hurt some people's feelings.
Ooh, I love your attitude, buddy. Go get them. We'll talk to you later.
Hurt some people's feelings. Well, they've come alive in the playoffs the last couple of weeks, so keep your eye on the 88.
As I said, he's never missed the playoffs.
I talked to Matt about this track and about how you could run all over it. Let's look at the details of the Kansas Speedway and why it's so unique. It's 1.5 miles in length, but look at the corners. The banking is progressive. Down low, it's 17 degrees. Up top, it's 20 degrees. The front and back straightaways, that's irrelevant. But you can see this track offers up drivers a place to run that the others aren't. And when I say that, also, the older pavement. This track hadn't been paved in quite a few years. That offers up the trucks to slip and slide, and these guys will be taking advantage of that.
Let's take a look at our race analysis. This race is 134 laps, just over 200 miles. Our stages are 30-30 and the final stage 74. Pit window somewhere between 50 and 55 laps. That means we will have a pit stop in that final stage, and it's going to be fun to watch.
It will be, especially from our onboards. We have 2 onboards this evening to keep an eye on.
All right, I'm going to break some news, Jamie. This is my favorite to win the race tonight. I liked his speed in practice. I love his attitude. Louisville, Kentucky's Ben Rhodes is going to start inside the top 10. Really fast truck on the long run. Watch for this truck, the Kubota Ford, to go forward.
Ben is just below that cut line. We're going to ride along with a guy that's just above that cut line. This is the Gamebridge Chevrolet for Nick Sanchez, an outstanding rookie season. Remember how good he was at Texas on the 1.5 miles. He's going to start from the 2nd spot, and he finished 2nd in Atlanta earlier this year.
With more on Nick Sanchez, here's Heather.
And some may call him Mr. Front Row after capturing his 7th front row start of the season. But tonight, my nickname for Nick Sanchez is Mr. Confident. Even though he come into this elimination race only 3 points above the cut line, you would never know. This might be the most confident I have seen Nick Sanchez all season. He loves this racetrack. He's done a tremendous amount of preparations, and things are really clicking for him and his team. His focus tonight will be on himself and his team's ability to execute this race. And he feels like this is the closest for them to be able to do that. He said, hopefully we can seal the deal tonight and get my first Truck Series win. Amanda?
Well, someone that's going to want to chase Nick Sanchez tonight is Matt DiBenedetto, who's 20 points back. When I asked him earlier, is it possible? He said that the team has worked through the all points possibilities, and the surest pass for the 25 racing in round 2 of this playoff is a win right here at Kansas. He said of his chances, he spoke of running 2nd here in the spring before being wrecked out. Matt, and that win or bust game plan will start 11th.
And Matt DiBenedetto in his first Truck Series playoffs. He's been in this scenario in the Cup Series before, but he is the odd man out, 20 points back as we drop the flag here tonight.
You know what I love about this series, Phil? If you had asked me about 3 guys that could win this race tonight and might be championship favorites, I would have said Zane Smith. I would have said Corey Haim. I would have said Carson Hocevar.
And where'd they qualify?
14th, 15th, 17th. That's Truck Series racing right there. But I'm going to tell you guys, look for these trucks to come to the front. And the reason why I say that, when you go qualify, you run wide open. And a truck that is trimmed out, maybe a little bit freer, is going to go faster in the afternoon all by yourself. Now we're going to go drafting. I mean, these trucks can run wide open around this racetrack. They're going to be drafting tightly. So if you got a little bit more downforce in your truck, maybe you don't qualify as well. That could be why those guys are back there. Pay attention and see who's able to charge to the front.
We see about a 1.5 drop off in 30 laps on these trucks.
Well, let's take a look at the playoff picture so far. Average finishes for our top 10. Christian Eckes with a 2.5. They have turned up the wick.
And there's a hard line right there. Look at right below Zane Smith, 8.5 for Zane. Everybody else above him better than that. And look at those 3 guys on the bottom. Ben Rhodes 16.0, De Benedetto 18.5. That's why they're down below this cut line.
And I don't care about Ben Rhodes' average finish, because tonight I think that team is on it. Let's listen to the radio.
All right, man, we're going to do the deal tonight. We've all been here. We all can do this. So we're just going to take it one lap at a time and not get caught up in anything stupid, and we'll be fine. So do what you got to do. Keep it clean. See you here in a little bit.
I love that. Keep it clean. But you know what I think is really valuable, Phil? He's a champion.
Oh, yeah.
He knows exactly
He's been here before.
Yeah, he doesn't have any nerves about tonight. He's going to go get the job done.
He knows how to perform under pressure. He's raced his way in before. Like you said, he's a champion. They had a fast truck today, so a lot to look forward to. But remember, practice qualifying, bright daylight. It was warm. Things are a lot different. Conditions are different. So who will prevail? As we see Chase Purdy on the front row. First career pole for him.
Yeah, he chose the outside, and I think you'll see that a lot tonight. Got Jack Wood right behind him, teammate. Hopes for a good push from him. Let's get this baby started, Jamie.
And remember, Nick Sanchez on the inside in the 2. Rev Racing, they have an alliance with Kyle Busch Motorsports, so those KBM trucks fast tonight as the pace truck turns down pit road. Here we are, side by side. Chase Purdy, Nick Sanchez, Ty Majeski, Jack Wood. Green flag, we're racing at Kansas.
That's what you're going to see all night. Look at that mess behind our front couple of rows. Really crazy action.
4 and 5 wide going through turn 1 as you see Nick Sanchez comes out. He prevails and is our leader.
That didn't work out so well for Chase Purdy.
Here comes your boy.
Oh, he's loose on the bottom.
Ben Rhodes.
That was Ben Rhodes loose on the bottom of Chase Purdy.
Ben Rhodes to second. Chase Purdy trying to hang on to that second spot.
I think that might have been Majeski.
Yeah, I think it was Majeski.
One of the trucks in the back there got really loose, but you can see Ben is heating up Chase Purdy for that second spot. Look at that action.
Talk about the draft too, Michael. The draft is so important here at this racetrack. And Majeski gets loose again underneath Jake Garcia.
And here comes Jake Drew. We got a party of Jakes up in the front.
Jake Drew for Hattori Racing second truck. Doesn't have a whole lot of experience in the Craftsman Truck Series.
Man, I tell you what I love is to see that 99 spark, and that means that truck's down on the ground doing everything it needs to do to be aerodynamically perfect. And what will happen is the tires gain temperature from running around this racetrack, burying those tires into the corner. The pressures will come up. That'll go away. He's going to be in a great spot.
It's a pretty good spot right now, it looks like.
Ben Rhodes to second. Chase Purdy gives up another spot back to third. Christian Eckes back and forth, and Jake Garcia hangs on to fifth. Here is the replay.
Watch Majeski, that 98. I thought that was Ben Rhodes at first, but it was a Majeski. He's going to get loose underneath the 4. He has to slow down, had to back off. Ben Rhodes said, okay, I got this high side. I'm going to be fine.
That was a perfect case, perfect scenario for Ben Rhodes. He was committed to the top, and the top opened up. Good start for Chase Purdy, though. In third place, he's been able to maintain. Have to watch Jack Wood. He qualified so well. He's back to the 8th position. Can he rally and get back up toward the top 5?
You know, we've seen this out of Nick Sanchez time and time again. Starts up front, leads a bunch of laps. But the second half, he hasn't been able to seal the deal. He's had some good finishes. He just hasn't found victory lane yet. And we heard the report talking about how confident Nick Sanchez is. So I wonder if this will be his place. And, you know, in the ARCA Menards series, Phil, we've talked about him. We've called Nick Sanchez winning, not once, but twice at Kansas.
And he'll had 168 laps on the mile and a half at Texas before getting wrecked on the very last lap. So he knows how to get it done on the mile and a half.
Watch this 88 truck all the way up to the 23rd third position so far, and he's sparking. Like I said, I know if you're watching home, you're like, well, that can't be good. You're dragging the bike. It is a good thing. His truck is set up well, even though he's never practiced the lap in it. They were on the scales earlier today when I talked to Matt, and he said, I believe in my boys, and I believe we can get the job done.
So Jake Garcia, that's the white and black number 35. He was able to get by the 4 of Chase Purdy in that battle for third. Now Chase was able to get back by him.
I think that was a crossover. I think
exactly.
Jake made the move on Purdy in that 4, but he couldn't hold it down low, and then Chase came back around. But that just shows you the speed of this Bill McAnally Hilgeman Racing number 35 truck. This team is doing a lot of great things, and they're really looking forward to 24 as well. Maybe adding another truck and being even more competitive.
Bill McAnally, just every time you see him, he's just so joyful, so appreciative of what this team has been able to do, bring Christian Eckes on, Jake Garcia. You know, when you talk about Jake, and we've done it a lot this year, he's so consistent. Ran 8th here in his first time ever in May, so you imagine the things that he learned there that'll help him here tonight. It's showing.
And you see the Napa colors on that 19 of Christian Eckes. There's a reason that Napa and Bill McAnally have been together for over 30 years.
That's that move right up in front of Purdy. Garcia made it happen at that time. Purdy didn't decide to go under him. He's going to maybe try to go around the top, but I think that 35 truck's really fast around the bottom. You can see him pulling away there.
See how much momentum that Purdy will have from the high side coming back. Not going to be enough to pull up beside of Jake Garcia. You see Jake wave out the window. Thank you for letting me, for giving me a break.
And watch right behind the Ford truck. It's that Napa truck that you spoke of. He's coming to the front as well. He's going to be someone they're going to have to deal with tonight. I'm interested right now, Phil, to see whose trucks are maybe look like they're a little pushy. They're tight in the corners, wanting to go up the hill, and who's hanging out. I think right now, if you're hanging out a little bit, that could be an advantage. You could maybe see your truck become more neutral and be faster longer into the run.
Christian Eckes up a few positions as Nick Sanchez continues to lead here at Kansas. Little contact between Chase Purdy and Jake Garcia. Jake Garcia got so excited. He hung on to it. Well done. Woohoo! And caution is out for the first time here at Kansas Speedway for Bailey Curry, an incident. Around backwards obviously has bigger issues. I don't think sparking that much is a good thing, right, Michael?
Well, flat tires will help that,
yeah,
won't they?
I think all 4 of them are flat, Phil, so he's just struggling to get back to pit road. Bailey didn't get off to a great start, usually really fast in this 41 truck. I've been really proud to see the performance of Bailey in this Nice Motorsports 41, but today it's not been a great day, and it has every look of maybe he just got loose.
See what happens here.
Yeah, he's on the inside of another truck. We see that so often. That truck on the inside loses air off that spoiler, that rear downforce, and just around he goes.
And I'm going to tell you, as a racer, Jamie, that happens so quickly. You know, you've got great grip and you're making the pass, and then all of a sudden
you don't.
It's gone, and your truck is gone. But nice job of not getting into the outside wall.
And a nice job by the racetrack of having all pavement down there below the racetrack.
Yeah, not so many drivers were as lucky earlier today, whether it was practice here for Craftsman Truck, it was the ARCA Menard Series, a lot of right side damage.
I saw a red wedge wrench go into that right rear too, so obviously he said, I thought I was loose and now I know I am.
Yeah. And he may not have felt that loose until he got underneath that other truck.
Well, we continue under caution here for the first time at Kansas. We go green, it's all Nick Sanchez, Ben Rhodes. Welcome back to NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Racing live from Kansas as we remain under caution for the first time. The surprise here, we just saw one of our playoff contenders, the last winner, by the way, Grant Enfinger, come down and make an unscheduled pit stop. And guys, we heard a little on the radio, something about a vibration, so something's not right with that truck.
Yeah, I can see maybe short pitting the stage, but there's so many trucks. There's 32 trucks on the lead lap right now. Grant actually did this early this year. He restarted 17th with 5 laps to go in the stage and drove all the way to second to get second stage points. But this time, Heather, I guess he was talking about a vibration.
Yes, and on the radio he said that he was talking about a vibration in the car, but I checked with the team and they said that this was their plan. They wanted to get off of sequence for this race, as you guys just talked about, but they did make a track bar adjustment just to get him a little more snug so he can really get after it when we go back green. Amanda?
Heather, we talked about Matt DiBenedetto's win or bust mentality here today. Well, he's already fallen 3 spots to the 14th position, but he's running in a brand new chassis here this weekend. They did use a similar setup from the spring race in Kansas, but said it's a bit evolved.
Interesting. You got to evolve if you want to have a different outcome, right?
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. I talked to you guys earlier about being up at up where Grant Enfinger's trucks are housed at GMS, and I saw a truck driving across the parking lot. I said, "Where's that truck going?" They said, "It's going to Bristol." I said, "Where's it been?" They said, "It won Milwaukee." I said, "I thought you would save that for Phoenix." And they said, "Well, we're going to take it to Phoenix if it gets through Bristol." But that's how important every race is. You got to bring your best stuff each week, and that's what DiBenedetto thought they did, but so far it hasn't worked out.
Yeah, and that's why Enfinger's going to take that truck to Bristol. That's the second round. We know he's already through to that round.
Yes.
But then you got to perform in that next round of 3 races.
Who did that so spectacularly? That's a good word for me to say, isn't it? Spectacularly.
They're spectacularly choosing.
Who did that last
right
year? Ty Majeski. He won when it mattered, and that's what it's all about in the playoffs.
He won 2 of the next 3 races coming up last year. Just put on a show, punched his ticket to Phoenix, had a shot at the championship.
He's won 3 races in his career. All 3 of those races have been playoff races.
Talk about stepping up when it matters most.
It's going to be fun to watch Enfinger back there to see how this play works out for this team.
I guess if you want to mix it up, you do it now, early on.
I like it.
And this racetrack is wide enough. You can go 3 wide, or you can go to the top all the way to the bottom. So Enfinger is going to have the freshest tires in the field right now. So it's going to be really interesting to watch. The guys told me about a second half fall off in 30 laps. Now, we only ran about, 16, 17 green flag laps. So the fall off's probably not going to be quite that, but still going to be fun to watch.
He's starting 25th. Let's make a note of that and see where he goes.
So you see there, stage 1, 11 to go. First stage break is at lap 30. Second stage break, lap 60. We'll do 134 laps tonight to decide it.
Does he get back to the top 10 before the end of the stage?
I think he does. And I'm also going to watch this number 35 truck. Jake Garcia is restarting on the outside behind Ben Rhodes. We saw earlier the pole sitter take the outside and it didn't work. Nick Sanchez grabbed the lead on the bottom. Let's see what happens this time.
Yeah, certainly worked for Nick Sanchez on the initial start of this race. He'll keep it on the bottom with Ben Rhodes on the outside. Jake Garcia, Chase Purdy behind him.
A lot of wheel spin for the 35 of Garcia. Look how much ground he's losing to the inside line.
And guess who else is losing ground because of that? Ben Rhodes, because he didn't get the push that he needed, but he's rebounding on the outside.
Look at Christian Eckes on the bottom, 3 wide. Oh. Contact there with Chase Purdy.
Corey Heim trying to go through the middle on that 11 truck, the black and red truck.
When they throw the green flag in a truck race, all bets are off. You're going to go wherever they're not, and it's going to be crazy, and that's what we saw here.
Guys, I think the 35 of Garcia hit the wall coming off the turn 4. That's him in the middle right there.
See on the outside of him, Jake Drew. In the 61, he's doing a nice job, Phil. Not a lot of starts here.
He is doing a great job. He was our ARCA Menards West Series champion last year.
Carson Hocevar up inside the top 10.
That contact for Jake Garcia in the 35. He's now lost 5 positions.
Watch him come on off turn 4. I just caught a glimpse of this.
There he is.
Oh, hardly any contact.
That didn't hurt anything, but that tells you the truck isn't handling like he wants it to when he gets back in that traffic.
And it was so good prior to the caution flag.
If you're looking at the pylon on the left side, you see the different colors. If they're green, they are locked in for the next round. If they're in gold, they want a chance to race in the round of 8.
How about Grant Enfinger now racing for the 10th position with 7 laps to go in this stage?
Didn't you call it?
Yes.
Did Michael take that bet?
Yes. I mean, if that means I was with him, I took it. I agreed with Phil. This is a great call. What about Jeff Hensley? Yeah, I love thinking outside the box, and that's what he's doing right here.
Grant Enfinger since the restart, up 14 spots.
Is tonight Nick Sanchez's night? We've seen him so close so many times, and so far, just dominant here in Kansas.
Well, he's got all the pieces to the puzzle, and he's got the experience at this racetrack, probably more so than any other place we race. So if he's going to win any place, not to mention all the pressure, this would be it.
You know, he took off and got the lead from the start. Checked one box, but then he also had a restart and had to get the lead again and is able to drive away. That's impressive.
How about this 88 truck all the way from the back now is broken up into the top 15.
We talked to him on the pace laps and he sounded very confident. Matt's always wanting to tell people to shut up, basically. You talk about how old I am. You talk about this or that.
How long it's been since he's won.
Yeah.
And that,
just shut up, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing. This is fun to watch.
Up 17 positions so far for Matt Crafton.
Good start for Stuart Friesen. Started back in the 20th position, up inside the top 15.
You know, this track opened way back in 2001. Matt Crafton's raced in all of them.
3-time winner here in the Truck Series at Kansas. His best racetrack statistically.
You know who won that race in 2001?
Ricky Hendrick.
Ricky Hendrick.
Yeah.
Saw that, made me think of him.
Yeah,
Smile on my face.
I remember how happy Mr. H was in victory lane with Ricky. Ooh, caution.
And caution is out for the second time. Turn 3 and 4. As you see the 02 truck around, that's Caden Honeycutt.
He left rear tires down on that truck. That certainly could be as a result of the spin.
I think he cut another one or something, just lost it 3 and 4.
Right front's down as well. You hear the spotter talking about, thinks he just lost it over in 3 and 4.
I felt like he was going to have a good race tonight, but you can see both rear tires are flat. See if he can get on and off pit road.
There's a tire mark on that right rear quarter panel too, so possibility of maybe he got into another truck.
And I have to pull this truck up to get that jack under there. You see the team members pulling on the fenders. See if he can get in and off pit road without losing another lap.
Caden Honeycutt, the 20-year-old out of Willow Park, Texas, driving for Young's Motorsports. One of those that's a part-timer. Let's go on board.
Oh, there's your leader.
Right in front of our leader, Nick Sanchez.
That'll get your attention. You can see the smoke up ahead. So nice when you see the truck going down off the banking when you're committed to the top.
One thing you noticed that Chase Purdy's been able to get around Ben Rhodes to grab that second spot back.
He's staying in the hunt.
You know, I as a fan, I can't decide if I'm pulling for Nick Sanchez or Chase Purdy. They're both great stories.
I think I'm good with either one.
Yeah, me too. And I talked about picking Ben Rhodes to win the race. He's right there lurking. But look at Corey Heim. I talked about him qualifying outside the top 10, and he's already up inside the top 5. I think this is my championship favorite. He's going to do what he's got to do to advance to the championship 4, I believe, and my favorite to win the championship.
He's been incredible. And by the way, he says this is his all-time favorite racetrack. Loves the 3 groups. He says it just plays into his wheelhouse. He showed his strength actually running in the ARCA Menard Series part-time. Won that race 3 years ago now. Toyota saw him and said, let's take this kid under our wing and give him a chance. And look what he's been able to produce.
And you know what I love, Phil? Last year, when you didn't really even know about Corey Heim, goes to Darlington and restarts on the front row late to win the race.
In his debut.
That's all I needed to see to say, all right, this kid not only will win truck races, he will win cup races one day. And there's very few people that come along in the truck series that you're bold enough to make that statement. We've said it about Eric Jones. We've said it about Christopher Bell, William Byron. This is another kid that's in that same position.
And he's a 2-time winner already this season. So this will officially end our stage 1. Nick Sanchez picks up the stage win. That'll be his 3rd of the season. So we'll step aside. Nick Sanchez, it's been all him so far. He's led all 28 laps. Stay with us. We'll have pit stops on the backside. Welcome back to Kansas Speedway, where Nick Sanchez just picked up the stage win. He's led all the laps so far. 2 cautions for 10 laps in that stage, number 1.
Yeah, 10 points for Nick Sanchez.
It's big. It's huge.
Really big.
Down there fighting it.
Yeah, man.
Remember, Nick Sanchez came in only 3 points to the good to advance
into the next round.
Next round. Dun, dun, dun.
Very well said, Jamie.
I didn't say the line. I didn't say anything about the line.
He is in a great position to advance to the next round. Let's go to pit road. What do you say?
Everybody's coming down for adjustments. Amanda, they're coming your way.
Well, you can see the 4 pull off there. He's actually in the first pit box here. Easy ride for him on pit lane. Said this is his favorite track to race out. Some fuel and some tires for the 4. And then on to Ben Rhodes. I can watch him right now. They said they wanted to get that Arca rubber off these tires. So new tires there. Going to take a track bar adjustment as they look to find more groove here in Kansas, Heather.
And stage 1 winner Nick Sanchez said the balance stayed basically the same, just a tick free. So his crew chief Danny Stockman said, we're going to get a little bit of ahead of it here, tighten you up with a track bar adjustment. And then on the bottom of your screen to the left, Corey Heim, same thing. His crew chief Scott Zipadelli said, we're getting cooler temperatures. Track's starting to free up, so we'll tighten them up this pit stop.
All right, so temperatures coming down, tightening up the trucks. Got to think ahead here for the distance of the race. 32 laps into a 134 lap race. Stay with us. We'll drop the green flag once again after this. Welcome back to Kansas Speedway. We're still under caution here for the second time, and you see Grant Enfinger stayed out there, but mixed up the strategy a little bit. They said they had a vibration, but I think this may be part of their plan.
Well, they said they had a vibration. They came in on lap number 17, put 4 tires on. And right now, I don't think they can afford to give up another set of tires. They only have 2 more sets of tires. So if they came in now and put another set of tires on, that means they couldn't put another set on at the end of the stage, second stage, or close to the end of the stage, and have another one for the middle of that final stage when they make their final pit stop. So I think Jeff Hensley is a pretty smart guy. He's been around here a long time, but I don't think that he would have wanted to give up that set of tires for sure. But they only have 7 green flag laps on those tires on that truck.
But also, think about Jeff Hensley. You talk about what a smart guy he is. They might have had this in their playbook to come in early if there was an opportunity and just mix things up, see if they get some track position. And on the other hand, Phil, if you have a vibration, you're an experienced racer like Grant Enfinger is, and you say you got a vibration, you want to take care of that truck, and you want to make sure you give your driver a chance to win the race at the end of the day. So I think time will tell. We'll see how well he holds on these tires that have 7 more laps. I don't think he's going to drop like a rock, do you?
He may drop a few positions, but I think he's going to settle in somewhere in the top 5 or top 10, I would guess.
Well, this just in. Carson Hocevar fans, you are liking this news. He has locked himself into the round of 8. As you
turned
see,
green. He just turned green.
Turn green. Green means go. What a difference a year makes. Anybody remember this race a year ago? The heartbreak. Finished second and lost that opportunity. Didn't have enough points to advance.
He got passed on the last lap, Jamie. The very last lap of the race he got passed and got knocked out of the playoffs.
That wasn't happening this year. This team is so much better. He's a better race car driver. He's got 3 wins under his belt. Just what a difference a season makes. So congratulations to that 42 team in Niece Motorsports.
And that means last year he was below what, Michael?
He didn't advance. This is
the below he didn't advance.
The below he didn't advance line. I hope the fans at home aren't getting tired of this, but I think the cut line it goes away. It moves. It's fluid. It's like the sands of time. It comes and it goes.
It is a fluid situation.
But it's so cool to know Carson Hocevar, Christian Eckes, Corey Heim, Tom Majeski, and Grant Enfinger. They're in. They're going for a championship, or they're going into the next round.
And that's great news for Grant Enfinger. Of course, he got that win 2 weeks ago at Milwaukee, our last race. Mixed up the strategy a little bit here. Older tires trying to warm him up. As he will lead the field to green on the outside. And Nick Sanchez, stage 1 winner on the inside. Corey Heim, Ben Rhodes behind them.
Grant Enfinger is a big Corey Heim fan right now. He wants that push. He wants that shove, and he got it. But it's not. Is it going to be enough? We know how fast Sanchez has been down there on the bottom. And he's going to grab the lead. Wow.
Nick Sanchez, amazing restarter. Seen it all season long. Ben Rhodes, side by side with Grant Enfinger.
They're side by side everywhere. Look at Hocevar. The blue and black 42 is going to slide up in front of Eckes.
4 wide. The restarts here are just incredible.
I think Stuart Friesen just drove down to the grass, and that blue truck almost got together with Jake Garcia.
Jake Garcia way back there in that mess.
Look at Ben Rhodes.
Top 5 earlier. Ben Rhodes wants a piece of this lead.
Nick Sanchez does not want to give it up. He's going to side draft him down into the corner.
Both of them slipping and sliding. You can see the trucks bobbling as they head up the racetrack off turn 4.
Ben Rhodes trying to get the lead for the first time tonight. Nick Sanchez says not so quick.
Look at all the side drafting going on.
And look who's lurking back there in third. Grant Enfinger has hung on those older tires.
Look at that view. They're 2 feet off each other at 180 miles an hour.
They keep running side by side for long, though, and Eckes will be right there on them.
Christian Eckes says, you boys just keep doing your duty. I'm here watching. Look at this going on now for 3 laps side by side.
Look at that snarling pack that's coming behind them, though.
Man, that's so hard to do. Oh, what's going on with Chase Purdy? Must have had a loose wheel. They're jacking up the left side, putting on tires. That has every look of a loose wheel. See what happens.
Just got to minimize the damage here. Don't speed on pit road. Probably will lose a lap, but he's got a fast enough truck to get that lap back.
You see the pack coming around as Chase Purdy makes his way down pit road.
Big slip for Ben Rhodes.
Out front now, look at the 42. Carson Hocevar slips into the second spot.
Rhodes had a big slip while battling for the lead and lost a spot to Hocevar. And here comes Eckes. And look behind them. We're going to talk about Zane Smith in these last few races this year. I can promise you that. He's right up in the top 5 after starting outside the top 10.
Hearing Chase Purdy had a really, really bad vibration, to your point. Loose wheel there, got that taken care of. He is back out on track.
They have a way of monitoring. They have cameras actually that will film the pit stop. So I'm sure they went back and looked at the camera and said, we must not have got the lug nuts tight on the left side. It looked like that was a questionable side.
Somebody else that had issues on pit road, Ty Majeski came in. He was 10th, a 21-second pit stop. He lost 10 spots back in 20th.
Comes Zane Smith trying to move to the inside of Eckes, and that battle for 4th.
Battles all over the racetrack. Carson Hocevar, it's like somebody said, hey buddy, you're green, you're in, go for it, push the limit, see what we can do here. Closing that gap on Nick Sanchez.
How impressive has this 2-truck been tonight, Nick Sanchez? We talked about Texas, the fact he led 168 laps, leading on the last lap and got wrecked, and here he is doing it again on a 1.5 miles.
36 laps led so far tonight. Out of 42, definitely on par to have another one of those performances, but he just wants the outcome to be a little bit better.
Corey Heim's going to grab that pit spot from Eckes. You see Enfinger's hanging in there in 7th.
Would you look at this pylon? The cream rises to the top. 9 of the 10 top spots right now are playoff drivers. Taylor Gray back there going back and forth with Matt Crafton in the 9th spot, the only one not in the playoffs.
Yeah, Majeski's the only guy in the playoffs that's not in that top 10. We talked about his bad pit stop. He's right now back in the 20th spot.
Heather, what are they saying in Matt Crafton's pit?
Yeah, well, as we know, he's a very passionate driver behind the wheel and on the radio, and I just heard him say, I'm going to wreck him, and I'm not sure if he was referring to the 17 or we see the 15 coming up on the inside there, but his team reminded him, we know, however, let's not wreck our stuff tonight. You have a fast race truck, keep going towards the front, and as you know, we started 31st and all the way up into the top 10 now.
Well, Heather, you take a look at the number 4 of Chase Purdy. He's back in the pack now, but look at that. He's 1 lap down. He is in that lucky dog spot.
break for him.
What a tough break. But it may not be over for him again. He's in the free-pass position right now. Greg Van Alst is the last truck on the lead lap as Ben Rhodes gets completely sideways off of turn 4.
And look at the defensive driving that Zane Smith had to do. He passed him and then he had to block them. That's how tight things are here in the trucks. And look at Carson Hocevar eating up that white line on the bottom. He's trying to get alongside our leader, Nick Sanchez. That Zane Smith had to do. He passed him and then he had to block them. That's how tight things are here in the trucks. And look at Carson Hocevar eating up that white line on the bottom. He's trying to get alongside our leader, Nick Sanchez.
Zane Smith is on the move, and you mentioned it, Michael. Keep your eye on him. He's coming in hot. He knows how to win. Won here a couple years ago.
That's the guy you better watch. Look at him pulling up on the lead duo after battling his way all the way from starting outside the top 10.
How about this battle? Corey Heim trying to make his way up into the top 4, getting by Ben Rhodes for 4th.
That feels good, you know, when your truck will go down on the bottom and you can hook that white line and complete a pass. That's what the hardest thing to do is, completing the pass when you're down on the bottom, because the momentum is on the high side. You could see he made the pass on the bottom, then went right up to the top.
Ben Rhodes has given up a few spots since that restart. Nick Sanchez has about a 0.3 of a second lead over Carson Hocevar. Will step aside, but you won't miss a thing.
Home. It's where the heart is. Home is where we keep our most precious memories. Home is where the party starts early and ends with a bang. Home is where the kids play, and the big kids too. Home is where you let loose with a pre-race concert featuring Riley Green.
Bring it home!
The Bank of America Roval 400, Sunday, October 8th. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com. Welcome home.
I watched my first race yesterday.
You're on the team, kid. It's orientation day.
Hey, new guy. Let's get you up to speed.
Lunchtime.
Your workspace is ready.
Looks like you got a corner office.
Be part of something greater. Toyota. Let's go places.
We got the house! We did it!
Pods handles the driving. Pack at your pace, store your things until you're ready, then we deliver to your new home, across town or across the country. Pods, your personal moving and storage team.
Subway refreshed everything, and now they're slicing their deli meats fresh. That's why the new Subway Series subs are preferred by this QB.
And preferred by his old backup QB.
And if we prefer it, we know you'll prefer it too. Have you been behind me this whole time?
Yep.
Weeknights on FS1, Race Hub is your home for the only daily NASCAR show.
Holy cow! That'll be radioactive. Built by the experts for the die-hard fans.
Covering the stories, the drama,
and the excitement of NASCAR's biggest stars.
NASCAR Race Hub, weeknights at 6 Eastern on FS1.
I am tradition, passed down from the families that race to the ones that watch us every weekend.
We have a new leader in Kansas. Carson Hocevar up 16 spots from the start of the race. Leads his first laps here tonight.
We talked about that in the opening. Just because you qualified out back all by yourself in the sunshine of the day doesn't mean you don't have a really fast truck. Carson Hocevar knew, and that team, Phil Gould, they knew what they needed to go win this race tonight in practice, and it wasn't to qualify up front. There was more to it than that.
Zane Smith qualified 14th. He runs 3rd now. Corey Heim qualified 15th. He runs 4th now.
5 playoff drivers qualified in the top 10. The other 5 outside the top 10. So it was an interesting afternoon after the issues in practice. We had cautions coming out. There were all kinds of things going on.
And now 3 of those that were outside the top 10 qualifying are in the top 4 now.
And Ben Rhodes was battling for the lead just 20 laps ago.
I think
and
his
this
truck
was
is really
recently.
loose.
Ooh, hits the wall right there.
That's significant.
That's going to bend that right rear quarter panel.
We saw him earlier getting really loose coming off turn 4.
See all the black marks on turn 4?
That means it's difficult. When these professional drivers keep sliding into the wall, there's things going on.
That wall has gotten a workout today.
Rhodes remains in the top 5. Grant Enfinger hanging in there on those older tires. And there you see Christian Eckes on the bottom. Look at this run for Enfinger off the corner.
He might even think about moving forward from that 7th spot. He's going to have a great run on Enfinger.
Grant Enfinger to the inside of Christian Eckes, and he gets it. Picks up the 6th spot.
Can he hold it down there? Oh, no, not quite. And here comes Eckes to the inside.
He tried to get up there and take Eckes' air away, and he did. And then Eckes just turned left and drove underneath him. I think both these trucks right now are faster than that 99 of Ben Rhodes.
I wonder how much damage was done to the aerodynamics of the 99. That right rear quarter panel, the right rear side of that truck is very sensitive about making lap time. You want to have all that fender out into the wind that you can, and when you hit the wall, obviously it smashes it in.
It creates so much side force for these trucks, and they lean on that side force in the corner. Right now, Grant Enfinger is going to lean on that side force to grab that spot from Ben Rhodes.
He did it.
And he does it. The 23 to the 5th spot behind these 3. Matt DiBenedetto in the top 10, running 8th right now, and he knows his clear-cut path to make it to the round of 8. He's got to win. He was on the outside looking in.
I don't think Ben wanted to get that spot up.
Well, Grant doesn't either. I just want. This is why truck racing is so fun. You know, as an old racer like you and I are, Phil, you're like, just follow him, push him, give him a. Maybe we'll go faster together if we just push each other.
Guys, we got 3 laps to go on the stage. Ben needs all those points.
Wow, what a battle!
Battle for 5th right here. Christian Eckes not giving up.
Don't you love how colorful our pylon is? Green and yellow, and then you see rock out the roof.
You saw Eckes when he got by him, he had to get off the throttle. You saw the fire come out of the exhaust pipes. Ben wants that point. He needs that point.
2 laps to go. Pits are officially closed. Carson Hocevar continues to lead up front. Nick Sanchez, Corey Heim, Zane Smith, and then this battle.
I think this battle's over. I think Christian's going to be able to drive away from Ben, just like Carson Hocevar has been able to drive away from the field. He's up over 2.5 seconds. What an impressive drive in this stage it's been for Carson Hocevar. What an impressive drive it's been for this driver all year long. Got that win at Texas, and he's just matured so much behind the wheel of this race truck. Ran the Xfinity Series, top 10 that. Had that impressive debut in the Cup Series out in St. Louis, where he drove up inside the top 15 before having an issue.
And he does it. Carson Hocevar leads 12 laps, picks up his 3rd stage win of the season.
We get another one of those playoff points to carry to that next round.
Those are valuable.
What a difference a year makes for this young man. Carson Hocevar gets a stage win. Can he get his 4th win of the season? The NFL regular season kicks off Sunday on Fox with a huge doubleheader. First, Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers take on the Steelers or other regional action. Then in America's Game of the Week, Jordan Love leads the Packers against Justin Fields and the Bears, or the Rams battle the Seahawks. It all kicks off Sunday on Fox. I cannot wait for these games on Sunday. My Colts are playing with our brand new quarterback, Anthony Richardson. But we've got to tip the hat to this man, Phil Parsons, and his Lions last night.
How my Lions look last night?
They looked good. I was impressed.
My favorite comment about the Lions winning last night, Eric Jones said on Twitter, or whatever it's called now, that's the best Lions game I've seen in 27 years. And I got to thinking, how old is Eric Jones?
So that's the best game he's ever seen.
He's 27, so he's never seen a better Lions game than that one.
Don't ask me how long it's been since I saw a game that good.
Yeah, you used to go when you were a teenager, when they were good in 57, right?
57, yeah, I wasn't quite ready yet to go, but yes, they won the championship, NFL championship, obviously several years before the Super Bowl started.
Man, how fun is it that NFL on Fox is back? I mean, I love NASCAR on Fox, and it's just a perfect partnership with the NFL just to enjoy sports, man. It's a good time of year.
Well, we talked about the 99 getting into the wall, slipped back to the 7th spot. What are they saying on the radio?
We have to do a big combo adjustment here because I don't know if something was messed up or not, but the track made that big of a change. We're way loose, so we need track bar and wedge and air pressure.
It's going to kill the stop, but what we got to do is we got to do it.
We got to fix the truck because I'm doing all I can and just about wrecking every single lap.
Wow, we saw it with that big slide off turn 4, but then if you think about what he's asking for, he wants them to tighten it up 3 different ways. He wants wedge, he wants track bar, and he wants an air pressure adjustment. We'll see how long it takes this team to execute that, and like they said, we're going to lose some track position, but the champion, the former champion, Ben Rhodes, the experienced driver that he is, he knows what he needs, and that's what this team is going to have to do.
Yeah, he knows he's too far away right now the way it is. He has to have those adjustments.
And Brian Ross said it's going to kill us on the stop, and Ben said it's worth it. We're going to lose some spots, but we got to take it to make this truck better and drivable. Pit road is open. They're headed your way. Amanda.
You're going to see the 42 make his way here. And Jamie, I think he heard you say that he was in the green to race in round 2 because he went straight to win this stage. But as he pulls in, hey, he's just really enjoyed this truck. He told me earlier in qualifying that he wasn't worried about what they were going to do in the race tonight, that they had to set things for the long run. So Carson clinched into round 2, Heather.
And Zane Smith telling his team he's just losing the nose in the center to exit. He's a little bit free and needs more landing grip. So they're going to make an adjustment to tighten him up. And then also Nick Sanchez, his team, they had a communication issue where Nick couldn't tell him what he needed. But right before the stop, he was able to communicate he's too free. So again, they went 3 rounds on the track bar for the number 2.
That's got to be frustrating. They can't even hear their driver to know what his feedback is. But good news is he has Danny Stockman on the pit box. He can see what that truck is doing and made those changes. So you see the stage points earned so far today. Nick Sanchez with 19 on top.
Yeah, it wouldn't change a whole lot if
you're right.
Danny Stockman, Nick Sanchez won 1 stage, second in this last stage.
Corey Himes had a good showing so far. Carson Hocevar just won that stage.
See Ben Rhodes there. He talked about the long pit stop. Only lost 1 spot on pit road. But our leader coming to pit road, Carson Hocevar, lost 3 spots. So he'll have to battle back.
So Nick Sanchez, Corey Heim will lead the way after the break. Welcome to the Sunflower State.
Great night for racing. He means business.
Watch for a lot of action. It's going to heat up.
Here we go.
They're all over each other.
And welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Kansas Lottery 200. So 66 laps in the book, 68 laps to go. The first 2 stages are finished. It's all about the final stage, the second half of this race.
Like I said, a lot of movement on pit road. Carson Hocevar will line up 4th after winning that stage.
Great pit work by Corey Himes' bunch, Scott Cipodelli's crew to get Corey the lead.
Be interesting to see what kind of changes worked and maybe who didn't need changes so much. But we talked about the 2 and Nick Sanchez. That truck's been so good, but they still adjusted because they're thinking big picture to the end of this race and what they're going to need.
Yeah, and it's also important, Phil, you know, to keep up with this racetrack.
Absolutely.
It's getting cooler and cooler. So you have to take into consideration what your truck was doing and what it might do.
And what your notebook says about these nighttime races here at Kansas.
But I think the most important thing to watch, if I'm a fan at home, the draft. Watch how they push, watch how they shove, and the restarts and how wild it's going to get. We think it's been crazy so far. It's not going to get any less crazy.
They really haven't done a lot of pushing and shoving, but that's getting ready to happen.
Matt Crafton, you saw that yellow truck go by. He's in 13th. He and Matt DiBenedetto
And Ty Majeski back there as well. He lost all those spots on pit road the first stop, and he's only fought his way back up 6 positions, so he's back there in 14th. Hasn't made a whole lot of noise tonight.
Both those mats really need a strong finish to this race, or they're not going to be able to transfer to the next round.
Corey Heim, the control truck, and Nick Sanchez. Side by side. This is the first time we've seen Corey Heim restart on the front row. We'll see what this truck is made of.
How about that orange truck, 3rd row outside? Taylor Gray, great pit work. Get him up to 6th on this restart.
What about that jump by Nick? Corey Heim is able to pull ahead of Nick.
Trying to jump up in front of Nick Sanchez. They get bunched up. Here comes Carson Hocevar right through the middle. 4 wide.
At least 3.
That's bold going up the middle like Carson did. What will happen when he gets down here to turn 3 as Zane gets a big push on the bottom from Christian Eckes.
You just talked about it, the push, the draft. But Corey Heim to the lead. The 38 of Zane Smith tucks in behind him. Christian Eckes is there. Nick Sanchez back to 4th, and Carson Hocevar to his inside.
Grant Enfinger right behind Sanchez. That strategy worked out for them. Finished 5th in that stage with a little bit older tires for Grant Enfinger.
Christian Eckes in that Napa truck. Oh, Matt Crafton scrubbed the wall. There he is. Slow off turn 2 after contact.
Matt Crafton fought his way from the back all the way up into the top 10.
It'll take a lap or so to feel it out, to make sure you can see the quarter panel is definitely pushed over, Michael. We talk about how that right rear quarter panel is, that was really hard.
Yeah, he was loose, really loose, and bobbles up the track. That's going to end his day. Not maybe he's going to finish, but he can't be competitive without that right rear fender on it.
No, I think right now, unless one of these other playoff contenders that's not locked in, unless one of those has trouble, I think that's probably going to end his playoffs.
Yeah, the playoff picture's getting to be more and more clear every lap we run. You know, when you have the stages, it's really difficult to follow along who's where because you don't know how they're going to finish at the end of the race. But now, after calculating those stage points, we've got a pretty clear picture that this guy is in trouble.
Yeah, Matt Crafton off the pace after getting that wall. He only had 9 points to the good coming in, so huge.
I think he has a flat tire right now. Maybe the right front tire has gone down. I noticed the 99 was slow as well.
And they just made a bunch of changes to this 99 truck, trying to go in the right direction.
Look at that right rear quarter panel.
Looks like it's flat.
See, it's pushed over just like Matt Crafton's.
Look at all the damage back there. And you know, we heard Ben talk about how loose his truck was, and he wanted all those adjustments. The team went to work on it, but obviously he's gotten loose again and into the outside wall.
We're staying green here despite the issues by the 88. Matt Crafton was making his way down pit road, riding on board with the 99. Ben Rhodes has his hands full.
He sure does. At a reduced pace right now, it's all he can do to keep that truck straight. I mean, right now, Matt DiBenedetto's team has to be thinking, ooh, maybe we have a chance here. Because we know Matt Crafton's crippled. Ben Rhodes right now is struggling. Heather.
And the team telling, the crew chief telling the team right now, take your time here to get those fenders cleared from the tires. They did say on the radio there was a little bit of tire smoke as you see the damage on the right rear of the truck. The team also going to work on the right front. Just trying to get that truck back out on track as quickly as possible, but again, they were told they could take their time, guys.
Every point matters, though. You can't give up. If you can get back out there and salvage some points, it could pay off for you in the end. Just ask Carson Hocevar, who just missed out by a point in this race last year as he continues to battle up front. Corey Heim, though, leading his first laps of the night, 11 so far.
Yeah, Hocevar actually had gotten by Corey Heim on the backstretch. Corey got back by him. Now Zane Smith is all over the back of the 42 of Hocevar.
Michael, don't look at this graphic right now, but it is the cutoff. As they run right now, this is what it would look like if the race were to end right now. Matt DiBenedetto below, Matt Crafton back by 11.
But, Jamie, breaking news, it's not going to end right now. And Ben Rhodes is in trouble, and Matt DiBenedetto is inside the top 10. He's moved up to the 8th position. You said it, Phil. This team is thinking, we got a chance at this. What is going to be what is going to happen to Ben Rhodes, and how will that affect us? See Carson Hocevar storming back to the lead.
And can Matt move up from his 8th position to keep? Remember, every position is a point gained.
Ben is hanging on. He's still on the lead lap, but he's all the way back in the 26th position. He needs a caution right now to be able to work on that truck.
That last lap of Ben Rhodes was a second and a half slower than our leader Carson Hocevar was running.
Amanda, what are they saying?
Jamie, I got eyes on the crew right now, and you can see how they are just sick to their stomach. They're going to keep Ben out there for now. He's being radioed over. We're ahead of the 88. We're ahead of the 25. Hold on, buddy. Ben is saying right now, as we speak, I'm feeling vibration in this truck.
Well, Amanda, you look his hands inside that truck. He's turning right there. He's turning right more than he is left. That just tells you how loose that truck is. He's running 170 miles an hour, and he's having to turn the wrong way to make it around the corner. This is what champions are made of, being able to battle through this if he's able to do so.
That truck is virtually undrivable right now for Ben Rhodes.
He's got about 15 seconds over the guys that are leading the race, so he's just trying to hang on, hope for a caution.
I think it's only going to last about 10-12 more laps if they stay under green before he gets lapped.
What about Matty D stepping up? We haven't seen a lot of speed lately out of this 25 truck, but here he is inside the top 10. There's 2 more spots just ahead of him, and look on the chiclets. I like the chiclets, those yellow things on the right. That shows that DiBenedetto was 4th fastest last time by.
Well, big news for Matt DiBenedetto last week. Announced he will not return to Rackley Ward next year. Certainly not stepping away from racing, but he won't return. But how cool would it be for them to punch their ticket and make it to the 2nd round? Carson Hocevar continues to lead. 54 laps to go from Kansas. And the battle continues here at Kansas Speedway up front. Carson Hocevar, the 20-year-old, battling Corey Heim, the 21-year-old.
They were going at it during their commercial break, weren't they?
They were, and then Heather DeBow told us during break that there was some debris on the front of the 11, so he got up behind Carson Hocevar, got it off, and then there was contact.
Watch this. Just trying to race alongside Hocevar. Hocevar slides up the track, and watch what happens to Heim. Into the outside wall. I've talked about it, Phil, that right rear sensitive. Can he overcome? Heather, what are they saying after that contact to the wall?
Well, I could almost hear Corey Heim take a deep breath and kind of in frustration and a little scared there that he might have wrecked the truck too much, but the team told him, hey, the right side looks okay, rear looks okay, just take a deep breath again, relax, and keep moving forward.
It's always interesting to watch a young driver like this in his first playoffs and everything that comes with it. It's not just another race. No matter what they tell them, oh, it's just another race. Go out there and do what you always do. It's not the same. And you have an incident like that, and like Heather said, you could hear it in his voice that he was nervous. Meanwhile, the 88, another playoff driver, Matt Crafton on pit road.
Yeah, more trouble for the 88 of Matt Crafton. They were checking the tires here. They changed the left sides already, but I just heard him on the radio say, hey, is the other side flat? So that you can see the team working around to the right side of the truck to put a tire on that right front as well. And as they're going to bring out the hammer to maybe fix some of that earlier damage from getting into the walls.
There you see on the right, Ben Rhodes with that ill-driving number 99 Kubota truck.
I think I'd pit now. Once I got lapped, he's in his window. 46 laps to go. Come in and pit, try to make some adjustments to try to overcome the body damage he has. And try to make the best of this situation.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, this is all he wants right now. He is driving the heck out of that truck.
He'll probably stay out until he's no longer the free pass vehicle. Then I think he'll probably hit pit road.
So Ben Rhodes back in 27th spot. You mentioned it, Phil. He's in a free pass position right now. Meanwhile, I'm just looking at the top 10. You see Ty Majeski, there he is in the 98, has entered the top 10. It's taken him quite a while to make up those 10 spots he lost on pit road.
Yeah, he lost 10 spots on pit road at the end of the first stage and never got into the top 10 during the second stage. But here he goes by Jay Garcia for the 9th spot.
way, Jake Garcia, he was battling up there. The top 3, 4 early on. He got some of the wall. Now he's found his way finally back up inside the top 10.
Chase Janes in the 33 truck, Phil. He is now the first truck a lap down. So, as you said, maybe Ben Rhodes comes to pit road right now. Once he loses that free pass position, I bet he hits pit road.
We know everybody will have to come to pit road. They can go a little bit farther than this, but I think for Ben Rhodes now, come to pit road, work on that truck, and try to see if he can get some of that pace back.
There he is, just like we thought. Look at this battle for the lead on the right. How cool is it? Carson Hocevar, Corey Heim just going toe-to-toe.
And Ben Rhodes making his way to you, Amanda.
Man, and hopefully these can alleviate his pain. His crew chief, Brian Ross, is on his feet overlooking this change. Fuel is going into the truck, the left-hand side of the truck. They are making work adjustments on it. I see those new tires. They ask for a track bar adjustment as well in all the requests. Ben Rhodes, I hope your night gets better, buddy.
Well, they fulfilled all those requests. They made sure they got it done. So we'll see what the night has in store.
I didn't see a lot of adjustment, did you, Michael?
Well, they did probably to the tires with the air pressure, and also to the wedge on the left rear. But you know, Phil, what they can't fix or what they didn't work on is that right rear quarter panel. And at these speeds, you can see how it's going over to the left. And at these speeds, you can't fix that. It's just impossible. You got to have that downforce. That's how sensitive these bodies are. And that's why when you hit the wall, like we saw with Ben Rhodes, you just can't overcome it.
Yeah, I saw that. It looked like a very small track bar adjustment. I think I'd have done 3 or 4 rounds to lower that track bar to try to tighten that truck up a little bit. We'll watch the lap times and see if how much pace he may have gotten back.
Yeah, because all these trucks are going to come to pit road here in the next, what would you say, 10 laps, Phil?
Yeah, I think about 10 laps, I would guess.
Just about 40 laps to go, and this is reminiscent of a year ago when we saw Carson Hocevar leading. Just great truck until the last lap. John Hunter Nemechek makes the pass on him. Thought he was good, thought he didn't have to win the race to make his way into the next round, and that wasn't the case.
Some of the trucks may be a little bit off the pace of these two drivers right here. May elect to try to stop a little bit earlier and try to use those new tires to get some of that pace back.
2/10 separate these two for first and second, but Zane Smith is about 3.5 seconds back from them.
Oh, what's wrong? Here we go. Levin to pit road. We thought it'd be later, but he decided he was going to come right now. We saw that little scrape on the wall. Doesn't look like the right rear of that truck is hurt that badly, so that's why he's able to maintain pace.
I like this call right here by Scott Zipadelli.
Beating Carson Hocevar to pit road, right? Just
exactly
trying to get that lap time for a lap or two, Heather, and that's all this team will need to get the lead.
Absolutely, and he told everyone, be on your toes. We could come at any minute. They're going to have to back up the truck here because he went a little too far, but they're going to do 4 tires and take tape off the front of the 11 of Corey Heim. Amanda. Oh, and looky there, the 42 right in after. These guys are going to battle it out as we continue through this stage. When they were going along earlier, his team radioed over to Carson, said, hey, if you cannot get away from the 11, just play that dirty air game. Changes happening, the tires going on for Carson. This is going to be a fun battle.
But Corey Heim slid through his pit, and so that's gonna show up as soon as these trucks get back on the track. I think you're going to give the advantage after a normal pit stop to Carson Hocevar.
98's got a fire. Amanda.
Looks like he's just trying to refire that truck. There was a push from one of the crew guys to get it going.
Yeah, that was just raw fuel in the exhaust.
Heather.
And Zane Smith on the previous stop said he needed more grip. They're going to keep going in that direction for the 38 as we see him slide into his pit box there. Team going to work for 4 tires and moving up pit road for Nick Sanchez. He said he just needs a little bit more security center exit. That's the team making adjustments right now for Sanchez.
More adjustments for Nick Sanchez. Good to see that Ty Majeski all was well. They had their issues earlier on, but looks like he got his adjustments, his tires, fuel, good to go. Grant Enfinger, a little spillage there. No harm, no foul.
That's not exactly.
We just saw Grant Enfinger on pit road there, and he was complaining that he was just a little bit too free, so a track bar adjustment for the 23.
Thank you, Heather, for that update. Amanda, Matt DiBenedetto on pit road.
Well, that last stage break that they had was a blessing for the 25. There was a lug nut that was loose on the left rear, and something got stuck between the wheel and the caliper that they were able to take. But Jamie, you talked earlier about Matty D not knowing what's going to happen for him next season, so he's also racing with that tonight, hoping people are seeing what he's doing in this performance. Said he is an open book. He is open for all of it and what chances might be happening next season.
Yeah, Amanda, and that team's doing a nice job. They got that win last year. The second full year, they hired an engineer this year to better themselves.
Guys, I've been watching the lap times. Ben Rhodes has been no faster back on the racetrack with those 4 fresh tires than what he was running before the caution came out. So right now it's just ride it out for Ben Rhodes. Hopefully he can run this speed, not completely out of control like he was before that pit stop.
Uh-oh, back to pit road. Grant Enfinger getting a report from NASCAR that he was speeding, so he'll have to do a pass-through penalty.
It's going to take Grant out of contention.
Just serve that. That's when you're happy you have that win in your back pocket. You're not in this whole points scenario, so you make a mistake, it's no good, but it doesn't affect your outcome.
Couple of differing strategies going on. Tanner Gray is leading this race right now with Jack Wood in second. They haven't pitted yet. See how this plays out.
Tanner Gray, Jack Wood up front, Jesse Love in third right now, still to pit. Stay with us, you won't miss a thing as we go NASCAR side by side.
Streaming now on Fox Nation.
What made you decide that you want to speak out?
Martha McCallum's exclusive interview with Buster Murdaugh.
I hold a very unique perspective that nobody in that courtroom ever held.
The Fall of the House of Murdaugh, streaming now on Fox Nation. Sign up now and get your first 3 months for $1.99.
The deal of the race.
Deal of the race? The deal of the race is here.
We're offering racing fans different Craftsman deals throughout the season because teams can count on Craftsman tools to get the job done. And now you can too. When you take advantage of the Craftsman deal of the race, you'll save on the tools that'll help you power through your projects. And this deal, well, it's going fast. So scan the QR code now to get the current deal of the race.
Whoa, this is a good deal.
Geico makes car insurance easy. As easy as getting stuffed up during allergy season.
Before all the pollen, I used to stop and smell everything. The smell of fresh cut grass, my coffee in the morning, the hot dog smell from the hot dog guy. You did this to me.
With an app that puts your policy in your pocket, it's easy to Geico.
Curse you, ragweed pollen!
Pay attention to these faces. Fresh, grizzled, doesn't matter.
Don't get your checker flag here, man.
They're coming for you. This is the face of hunger, grit, victory.
When will it be his moment?
They'll smile in your face, then take your place. And laugh all the way to victory lane. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series playoffs.
Welcome back to Kansas Speedway. Jack Wood just peeled off, still pitting under green right now. But the first driver with 4 fresh tires, Corey Heim, about to take over the lead as you see changes being made to the 51.
Problem on the right rear, is that what it looks like? Maybe the air gun broke?
Looked like the air gun broke because they brought the front changer over there to tighten lug nuts on the rear. But
man, that's a shame. They took a chance, stayed out, ran long, stayed on the racetrack, as Brett Holmes is doing right now. He's still on the racetrack and is a leader in this 32 truck. He needs gas pretty soon. He's just hoping for a caution right now to flip his race around.
Brett Holmes, an ARCA Menard Series champion.
Yeah, Brett can probably go another 10 laps or so. You can run, close to 55 laps. Right now he pitted on lap 64, so he's only run 42 laps.
I would go all of them, Phil, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, it looks like he's coming to pit road now.
I would take a chance. Throw it out there, see what happens.
So as Brett Holmes comes down pit road, that gives the lead back to Corey Heim, who had a nice stop. He had to back it up. We thought he'd lose more than he did.
Well, that tells you how fast that pit stop was, and then pitting a lap sooner. Probably about a 1.5 second fall off. He took advantage of that by having those fresh tires over the competition. Carson Hocevar had a great pit stop, but this strategy and the crew on the 11 overcame the mistake that the driver made. That's good teamwork.
So Carson Hocevar just under 2 seconds behind the 11. Here's a battle for fourth. Christian Eckes, Nick Sanchez.
See Sanchez running that higher line. Look at all the momentum he gets, plus the draft going down the front straightaway.
A couple of trucks off pit road there. Haley Deegan, you saw the 13 truck making her way back to the track.
There's Chase Purdy. Remember the tough break Chase had, a loose wheel. Cost him a lap.
He's hanging in there though, Phil. 15th place, still on the lead lap. He's going to have to drive his Bama buggies off to be able to stay on the lead lap though. They're ahead of Heim. We know how fast he is, but look at the pace of the Ford truck. Oh, stretch it out a little bit, didn't he?
Such a good truck all day long. Qualified on the pole for the first time, and you saw just moments ago the 11 got around the 99, put him 2 laps down now. So Ben Rhodes still limping out there, certainly not 100%.
It's a good shot of Jesse Love, our ARCA championship point leader. Jesse's done a nice job here, stayed up on the top 15. He is right now the last truck on the lead lap. Would love to see a caution to stay in front of his teammate Corey Heim.
Just his second career start in the Truck Series. But what he's doing in the ARCA Menard Series is just incredible.
Phenomenal. Just phenomenal. What an awesome lead. He has 9 wins already this year for the ARCA Menard Series. Had a tough break today.
That's 9 wins is crazy to say.
That's a lot of wins.
In 17 starts, Michael. Had just his second DNF of the season earlier today. Had to watch the race from the pit box. Focus on the truck race for tonight. I have a feeling we'll see this young man full-time in the Truck Series. I'm sure next year.
Or somewhere. He's going to be somewhere for sure. He certainly deserves it. He moved by the 33 truck of Chase James to move him. Now he's ahead of the free pass spot. Or ahead of the still on the lead lap. I'm sorry.
Yeah, James is running that strategy I talked about. Just stay out there and take a chance. It didn't work, but Chase James stayed on the lead lap all the way till just now. He's going to have to pit pretty quickly, but they took that chance to try to stay in the game.
And Chase Purdy was able to get by James, so now Chase again is in the free pass spot. Right now pulling really hard for Jesse Love to stay on the lead lap.
Love's got a bit of a gap there.
Running some fast lap times. That last lap time he was within a couple tenths of a second of Corey Himes.
21 laps to go here at Kansas Speedway. As you see the cutoff line as they run. That's why Ben Rhodes continues doing all he can. He's in right now by 8 points. Think he can do it?
I think he can. I think especially if they made the truck drive a little bit better, he can certainly maintain this pace. And he has 8 points to play with. That means 8 positions to play with. He's running 26 now. He would have to go all the way back to 34th. But Matt obviously can gain some spots too and gain points. But Matt's about 7 seconds behind Taylor Gray, who's 1 spot in front of him right now. Matt DiBenedetto needs a caution.
As Corey Heim just crossed the start-finish line, that is the Craftsman. 20 laps to go. What a night this could be for Corey Heim. Talked to Scott Zipadelli, his crew chief, this week, and he just said it's all about the win. We have been so focused. This is his place. This is his favorite racetrack. We just need to go out and win.
How about the parity that we've had here this year in the Truck Series? Grant Enfinger has 3 wins. Carson Hocevar has 3 wins. Corey Heim has 2 wins. Zane Smith has 2 wins.
What's going on with our
coming
bubble
into
guys,
this race, and coming into this race, Zane Smith and his crew chief Chris Lawson really just felt like they needed a reset. Their short track program wasn't where it needed to be, so coming to this mile-and-a-half gave them an opportunity to see where they would stack up against the rest of the playoff competitors. This is the same truck that they ran in Nashville where they had a really good finish, a top 5, and they said they should have the same good speed as we see him running here in 3rd. But moving on to Nick Sanchez, I spoke earlier about how confident he was coming into this race, and he said they really have had a switch since Milwaukee. That was a game changer for them. He felt like him and his team are really reading each other well and making great adjustments. The best changes they've made so far this season, and he's shown it on track today, running inside the top 5 the entire race. Amanda?
Well, Heather, the 25 racing in that new chassis here at Kansas. He's been really happy with the truck tonight, but it is that mentality that we talked about at the beginning of the show. It is win or bust for this team, and that is definitely what it's going to be, because Ben Rhodes, his team, is telling him, hey, we're in the clear. We are good. Ben wanted to know 20 laps to go if he needed to do all or nothing, and I would imagine this is going to be all. Caution is out.
Oh. Caution is out for the 4th time, as you see the 22. That's Mason Maggio. Got to believe that was a hard lick into the wall once again tonight.
Has the looks of a right front tire as well.
Mason was doing a nice job inside the top 20 in that 22 truck.
And I say once again because we've seen this story all day long.
It's usually a result of wall contact or debris on the racetrack. There's no problem with these Goodyear tires. There's just issues with scraping that outside wall. We've seen guys just putting it on the edge or hitting some debris. That's a big hit there.
Significant damage for Maggio.
He's already into the wall there. Whoa.
Oof.
Was that Caden Honeycutt?
It looked like Caden Honeycutt in the...
What do you call that, Phil? Crab walking?
Or sideways, for sure.
Tough break from Mason Maggio.
Oh, and we got a set of tires.
What do you do?
Nobody has any tires, do they?
No, we. I think we would have put our last set on.
The green flag stop.
The green flag would stop. Yeah,
you're right.
Just his 5th start this season.
I think we'll see any pit stops. Some people could put a cooler set of tires on if they want to take a chance.
Yeah, these tires for most of the teams have, about 22 laps on them. So, and I think you would have to put maybe the tires on you ran during the 2nd stage, which after the caution for the stage end probably only have about the same amount of tires. But as you mentioned, they would be cooler. But do you want to give up the track position?
No, but there's only 12 trucks right now on the lead lap.
Yeah, so that's not many. I mean, if you're Stuart Friesen in 8th, Tanner Gray, Rajah Caruth,
what about Matt DiBenedetto?
Why not take a chance?
Yeah, see what you got.
You see there the 2023 playoff cut line officially as they run right now. Grant Enfinger with the win, Majeski with the win. Advances. Corey Heim, Christian Eckes, Carson Hocevar. We announced he advanced midway through the race. Zane Smith, Nick Sanchez, and Ben Rhodes. All to the good as of now. Plenty of racing still to come, though. Stay with us from Kansas. Welcome back to the Craftsman Truck Series live from Kansas Speedway. 13 laps to go. It's an elimination night. 2 drivers will be cut.
It's also a chance to win a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race and advance in the playoffs. And you see Corey Heim right there on point, was able to drive away from Carson Hocevar after that exchange of pit stops.
1 driver in right now, 1 driver out right now. Things can still change. Plenty of racing to go.
Yeah, we're monitoring the point situation closely, and there just isn't any way to move another driver, lock Zane Smith in. We can't do that yet, because if he crashes right now, he could be out of the points.
You see it there, Ben Rhodes, a 99 with that ill-handling truck right now. 9 points to the good over Matt DiBenedetto, -9. Let's hear from the crew chiefs. Amanda.
Standing by with Chad Kendrick, who just told me that he told Matt DiBenedetto ahead of this race that I don't need this truck back. So we'll see how spicy it's going to get as we head to the end of this race. But you told Matt that it's basically a win at this point. What else do you guys have up your sleeves?
That's about it. Ben is doing everything he can to limp his home, and he's doing what he's got to do. So short, we need him to fall back 4 or 5, and we pick up 4 or 5. But ultimately, we need a win. I told TJ to tell Matt. I mean, that's pretty much it. It's do or die, and we need a win. So he's good enough to do it. I think the truck is okay enough to do it. It may not be as fast, but you get up front and things change, so business picks up. So we need a restart of his life right here.
You can definitely feel the intensity over at the 25. Chad Kendrick was clenching his fist as I came over here.
Yeah, talk about restarts now. What a wild restart we're going to have here. Pit road is open. Do some of those trucks maybe just outside the top 5? Do they gamble on maybe put some cold tires on? We know they don't have any new tires left.
Chad Kendrick, he sold it right there. Business is about to pick up. It's do or die, go for it. I can't wait to see what Matt DiBenedetto can do here. It's all or nothing. It's all on the line to advance to the round of 8.
There you see everybody passing by pit road.
Yeah, everybody feels like the tires they have on the trucks now are better than what they could put on. They would have to put tires on that they'd already run during the race.
Let's get an update on Nick Sanchez, Heather.
Well, I said earlier he was having communication issues with the team and not able to let them know what he needed as far as the handling of that race truck. And again, he's still having a little bit of issues. They told him, take your radios out of the case and put them back in if that happens again. But one thing that he's having to do on his own is actually spot for himself. So the trucks around him, he said, hey, I kind of know they're there, but I'm trying to do my best just not to cause a wreck here. And they said, hey, man, you're doing a great job, so keep up the good work.
Well, that's going to be a real issue on this restart when they're going to be 3 and 4 wide.
Wow, what a round 1 of the playoffs it's been. 3 great races, a lot of drama, a lot of intensity.
And great race tracks, too.
And Michael Waltrip's truck. Take us around the country, Mikey.
Yeah, I'm going to take you from Indy up to Milwaukee, and then I'm going to run you out west a little bit to Kansas.
Where are you going then?
Oh, you watch this, Phil. We're going to go to Bristol. What about Bristol-Talladega combination and then go
in the same round?
Wow.
I want to go to the beach.
All right, let's go to
down
Miami.
To Homestead.
Miami.
South Beach, a little bit south of South Beach.
And then we're going to drop a trophy on this gang out in Phoenix. A lot of fun left for this season. It's been a lot of fun this year, but some more fun to come.
Absolutely. Across the line here with 10 laps to go. Corey Heim has led 32 laps tonight, but Nick Sanchez, talked a lot about him. He's led the most tonight, 43 laps.
I guess they probably will get to choose next time by.
And I talked about how Heim got the lead, slid through his pit box, backed up quickly. His team did a great stop, but he pitted 1 lap before Carson Hocevar. Does that 1 lap on his tires play out as we wind these laps down? That's how close the competition is. It could be a factor.
They'll be choosing next time by. We're going to step aside one more time. 9 laps to go. Once we drop the green flag, stay with us. You won't want to miss this finish. Still under caution with 9 laps to go. This is about to get good.
Oh, it's been good. It's about to get better.
Even better.
It's been good.
This may be one of the wildest restarts we've ever seen.
And I'm not making it up, Phil. These guys will be 4 wide, and they're going to be pushing and shoving.
You know, Phil talked about at the top of the show, guys that have raced their way in. Perhaps we're going to see that tonight. Here we go. Restart once again. Corey Heim, Carson Hocevar. Can Zane Smith get up there and steal it? Or Nick Sanchez, can he seal the deal?
What about the block by Heim on Zane? But Zane goes high and gets the lead off 2.
Here comes Hocevar, going to push Zane.
Look at Stewart freezing in the 52 back there. Matt DiBenedetto knows if he has a chance of advancing, he's got to get this win. He's got to seal the deal. The 25 back there in 6th right now.
I can't tell you how impressive that was.
There's a caution.
Raja Carew through the grass. Well, we're going to see another one of those.
Oh, my goodness.
Producer Mark Smith got in her ear and said, do we see another caution? I said, heck yeah, we see one.
The answer is yes. And the 15 of Tanner Gray.
What a good run it had been for Tanner Gray.
Yeah, on the lead lap here. There's only 13 trucks on the lead lap.
He was top 10 all day long.
According to the scoring monitor, Jake Garcia will be the recipient of the free pass.
Rajah stays on the lead lap. He's got some issues, though. Look at the damage on the back of the truck ahead of him. That was Ben Rhodes.
He can put some tires on. Again, they're going to be older tires, but he can put tires on that truck just in case. Ooh, Jesse Love.
And then Rajah got out of the gas aspect, and then Tanner didn't see what was happening, and they made contact.
I think that's exactly right. I think you called it exactly right. Jesse gets sideways.
And big time sideways.
Big time sideways. Rajah sees it. He's right behind him. He backs off. Tanner doesn't see it. And it happens so quick that his spotter didn't even have time to tell him.
And when you say doesn't see it, you can't see it. You're driving right behind another truck. You can't see over the truck. So he was just a victim of circumstances.
It's another shot. Talked about Jesse Love and the one getting sideways.
Whoa, nice job by Daniel Dye. Did you see him just avoiding Gray there off down the front straightaway?
A lot of drivers did a nice job avoiding that.
Ben Rhodes just creeping by saying, all right, let's just run a few more laps and get out of here. Tanner Gray to pit road. There's the damage on the Wendell Scott Foundation, number 24 for Rajah.
I think Tanner has a good chance of staying on the lead lap.
Thought I saw that right front wheel wobbling.
Was it? Yeah,
like
then
something was broke or bent in there.
That's not going to happen. They were looking at it pretty close. He also has a lot of damage on the left side as well.
Yeah, I think he's got big issues.
Yeah.
Zane Smith second right now. Let's hear from his crew chief, Heather.
Here with Chris Lawson right now, and we're talking about how brutal this restart might be. So what's the risk versus reward, and how aggressive are we going to see Zane get?
I'd say max aggression, right? I mean, it's going for the win. I don't care that we still probably need to play it safe to lock ourselves into this next round. It's going for a race win. We got to do it. So I expect to see that out of them. Fine.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Max aggression. Let's do this. Who gets it? Corey Heim? The experience of Zane Smith?
Well, what I saw from Corey Heim when he ducked low off turn 4 and was able to grab the lead, even though he was side by side entering turn 3, that 11 right now is hitting on all cylinders. He's going to be tough to beat. But you put Carson Hocevar in a
chance to win situation,
late race restart, and he can smell victory lane. Watch the aggression from the 42 truck.
He knows he's locked in already.
And I love Chris Lawson's philosophy. Let's win. Let's go for the win. Now, again, he's 61 points now above the cut line as they run. The only thing could even happen to him was if Matt DiBenedetto would jump up there and win this race. Then we'd have to do some math.
Well, Christian Eckes is in the 4th spot, Amanda.
And he's had a really good truck all day. His set has been balanced, has been very consistent, but he's been racing with one thing on his mind, and that is a trim to the playoff mustache that he has been just completely upset with all weekend. I verified with the team if that's been a problem. He said, man, that's all we can hear about. So maybe we'll get a sight of this playoff mustache towards the end of this race.
How about we don't? No, I'm just kidding. He's got this clean-cut baby face, and he's rocking this mustache right now. But it worked for Martin Truex Jr. a few years ago with that whole team. They grew out those beards. Oh, my goodness, it was atrocious. But, hey, it worked for him.
You've seen some hockey teams now having you in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Those beards and missing teeth. No thanks.
I gotta tell you, I like the commitment. I like that he says, I'm going to rock it all the way to Phoenix, and this truck has been fast enough. McAnally Hilgeman Racing.
I hear you, Michael, but I still don't like it.
What about Stuart Friesen sneaking into the mix, too? We haven't seen anything from Stuart lately, Phil. It's been a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, if anybody needs a good run, it's Stuart Friesen. His last 4 races, 27th, his best finish.
Oh,
we're certainly used to seeing Stuart racing up front. He's back up front where he belongs right now.
He's probably won about 9 dirt races since he had his last top 10 in the truck series. That's a struggle, Heather.
Yes, it has been a struggle for Stuart Friesen, but so far tonight he's been happy. The only thing he's complained about is just being a little bit free in that race truck. But he did not make the playoffs. He has nothing to lose here tonight, so he's going for win number 1 on the season. And I believe we can expect to see Stuart Friesen mix it up here on this restart for sure.
Yeah,
early
the
in the
best
race.
he's been.
Sorry, Jamie. Early in the race, I saw him down passing in the grass at the start-finish line.
Yeah, and it's going to be pretty close to NASCAR overtime here. 1 to go, so we'll have 2 shots at getting this race finished.
Choosing Jinx.
Yeah, it's fun to say together.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's technically not going to be overtime. We're going to finish at the prescribed distance if we don't have another caution flag.
That's the if that I said. That's
Covered his bases.
There's 2 chances that we finish this race. One, we don't have overtime, but certainly still a possibility. These guys go down to turn 1 on this restart, knowing what's on the line. I don't know what to expect.
How about Taylor Gray in 6th? We know he's an aggressive driver, a good driver. He could steal one here.
Jesse Love into the top 10. Jake Drew. I mean, it's just fun seeing these names bubble up to the top 10.
Yeah, Taylor had a great 3rd place finish at Pocono a few races ago.
I love the win or go home mentality, though. And we're talking about Matt DiBenedetto back in 7th, Zane Smith in the 2nd spot.
Don't think that Carson Hocevar isn't thinking the same thing, win or go home. Even though he's already locked in to the next round, it's all about the trophies.
Corey Himes now led 40 laps here tonight. Can he lead the last 2? Corey Heim on the inside, Zane Smith.
This is going to be tough.
Watch him fan out.
They're pushing from the 2nd row.
Look at Eckes. Look at Taylor Gray.
Taylor Gray in that orange and black. Number 17 up high, side by side. Corey Heim to the point. Christian Eckes on the top of the track. The 38 is Zane Smith in the middle.
3 wide for the lead. Look at
3
this.
wide, there's contact. Corey Heim. White flag is out. How is this one going to end? Christian Eckes by a nose. 3 wide, guys. They're hanging on to it for this final lap.
Watch Zane's side draft Corey Heim.
Where will Christian go? Will he down to the bottom? Yes.
Is Christian Eckes going to steal this? Christian, Zane Smith sideways, taps the wall. He hangs on to it. They're 3 wide behind him. Christian Eckes steals the win here at Kansas.
Oh, me, what a finish. How about Matt DiBenedetto grabbing the 3rd spot? Not going to be enough, but man, he did all he could do.
He gave it his all, but Christian Eckes, 3rd win of the season.
That was beautiful.
He didn't give up.
What about Zane Smith off turn 4? I mean, that truck was crashed. I love the way these truckers go at it.
Win or go home for Zane Smith. Sideways, touches the wall, still brings it home 5th.
That's one of those cases where you don't know what...
Thanks for that one. Yeah. Good job there, Britt. Hell yeah!
Well, there's the win and the celebration, and then there's the loss. And Matt DiBenedetto in the 25 gave it his all, but he has failed to advance to the round of 8.
But that's your head held high.
Totally.
He charged right. I mean, he was in position to win the race and gave it all he had. And when he gets out of that truck, it's going to hurt, but he's going to have a smile on his face, I think, because he's going to say, you know, we were there. We had a shot at it.
And he put on a show. That was fun to watch. I mean, he fought to the very end. 22-year-old out of Greenville, New York. Christian Eckes, 4th career win, 3rd this season.
What did you say about the playoff mustache? You said you didn't like it. Do you like it better now?
I think you're stuck with it for at least a few more weeks.
I think we are. We're about to see the unveiling of the playoff stash. Oh, we apologize for that language, but these boys are fired up. Didn't lead all night. He was there. He was in the hunt.
All night long, he was top 5. Just made it all work at the end. And we know how wild the restarts are going to be late. And he just executed perfectly.
Gosh, the restarts are so exciting here.
Zane Smith, wow. What a save.
Didn't his first 2 wins of the season end under caution? I believe they were. He said, I just want to win in the regular distance of the race, and he did it here tonight.
What about his night vision? It was perfect.
It was perfect, Mikey. Bill McAnally smiling big somewhere. I'm sure he's not far. There's the checkered flag. That's what it's all about, playoff racing.
And that's the way to do it, too. That's the way to win them.
Let's go.
Here it is, the big unveil. There it is. America, you can decide for yourself. But that doesn't matter because it's all about the win, the excitement of it. And Amanda, you're with them.
Christian, what an extra special celebration here, and talking about opening up round 1 of this playoff for yourself. You punctuate it with a win. Walk us through the commitment of those last couple of laps. Wow.
Yeah, no, that was wild. I didn't know if I was going to win it or not. We had like a 6th-place truck all day, but that caution coming out, I knew we have a shot at it, and here we are. We haven't won in a really long time, so I wanted to kind of set the tone, and what a hell of a way of round 10, second, third, first. So can't beat that. Proud of all these guys.
We're taking a look at the replay from the end of this race, and I warned Jamie and the guys about the playoff mustache, but talk about the tone of that guy.
So my crew guy, JR, made me shave it and trim it up this week. I didn't like it at all, but I guess I'm going to have to keep it. So, yeah, just super proud of everybody. Napa Auto Care, Gates Hydraulics, Adaptive One. Man, it's awesome to be back in victory lane for sure.
Christian Eckes, your winner here in Kansas. Heather?
And Matt DiBenedetto misses it by 5 points. You finished 3rd. You gave it everything you had. Is there anything else you could have done differently on your end?
No, I don't think so. Honestly, this team fought so hard, worked their tail off to give me a good-looking truck and a good handling truck all night. So, man, we made the most of it for sure, and just so thankful for these guys to Rackley Roofing, and we've got Kansas Land Tire and Service, who great friend. Josh's a great friend of mine. Having them on board so cool. And American Racing, I've bought tons of their wheels and stuff because I bought all kinds of cars. And Ready Lift, we just did a project with my truck at home with them. So this is a really cool, special truck. I hate we missed it, man. It stinks we had an issue at Milwaukee, and it took us out of it, and we could be in that next round. But this team, they deserve to hold their heads high for sure.
Thanks, Matt.
That's the cross between just passion and thankfulness and sadness. You know, you could tell by his interview that he just had so many emotions going on there, and that tells you how much racing means to these guys and how important it is to succeed and just push yourself forward.
Matt DiBenedetto is such an emotional driver, always wears his heart on his sleeve. I know this one will be tough for him. He knew that it was a steep road to hoe, but he gave it his all in a great interview. Coming up next, right here on FS1, the Joel Klatt Show, the Big Noon Conversation with Coach Nick Saban. That'll be good if you're up for staying up a little bit later. It's been a nice long day of racing on the channel, hasn't it?
Nick's a lot of fun. He's an emotional cat, wouldn't you say? I'd stay up and watch a little bit of that action.
Playoff leaderboard, here we go. Headed into the round of 8. Corey Heim on top with Christian Eckes, Grant Enfinger, Carson Hocevar.
Remember, after this round, we're going to lose 4 drivers before we move on to Phoenix to decide the championship.
And this, Jamie, this is real. This is where they are.
There's no lie there.
There's no lie. You know where you stand. Let's go racing.
Mikey, there's going to be a line, and it's going to start at Bristol next Thursday night. So enjoy this week.
I just love Bristol, though, man.
Matt Crafton's name is not on that list. He's with Heather.
And Matt Crafton eliminated tonight, but you guys were behind the 8 ball having to go to that backup truck, and then you had issues with getting into the wall. But just can you kind of assess you and your team's effort to try to make it to the next round?
Our team did a great job. I mean, it all comes down lap 2 in practice when the 9 truck wrecked, and they did a pathetic job of cleaning it up, and we ran through the debris when we went back out there. They weren't in a rush in practice, but hey, I mean, it is what it is, and we got the cards were dealt, and it folded really crappy for us. But at the end of the day, we had some speed. We missed travels right there a little bit, got on the splitter, but we weren't terrible, and just kept putting stopper in the left front and finally got it off and managed. And when it jumped sideways off too, it hadn't done that all night, and it just caught me off guard. But yeah, I think these guys, they worked their butts off today just from practice, wrecking that truck in practice, and then wrecking during the race, and it wasn't meant to be. We'll go on and do it again next year.
Amanda? By 5 points, Ben Rhodes is going to be racing in round 2 of this playoff, and Ben, it was not pretty. How hard of a drive was that for you?
Yeah, we were edgy all day long ever since we unloaded, and we kind of were predicting that it was going to come to us in the race, and it kind of went the opposite way. I usually judge like a scale of like 0 to 5 for the truck, and we were about a 4 loose at one point. So I got to do some research and talk to the guys if we ended up having a tire going down that caused me getting the wall, or if it was just a mistake on myself. But mixed emotions tonight for this Kubota Ford F-150 team. You know, the expectation is to make it to the next round. So just meaning the expectation isn't necessarily a cause for celebration. So, I mean, we're happy to advance, but at the same time, we've got to smooth out some rough edges and make sure that we're, you know, bringing, I don't know, less mistakes and faster, more comfortable trucks.
Well, Jamie, he'll get his wish. He will race at Talladega.
They did all they had to do just to make it to the next round. And speaking of the round of 8, we've got Bristol coming up next Thursday, then Talladega, then Homestead. So that's quite the difference of 3 different races.
What a great group of racetracks for one round.
And you see the schedule for next Thursday. Trucks and ARCA racing from Bristol. Got trucks qualifying 4 p.m. Eastern, the ARCA Menard Series 6 p.m., followed by Trucks Race Day and the Trucks Series race. First race of the round of 8 coming up at 9 Eastern. And what a day it's been, gentlemen.
I'm telling you, Jamie, that was as good of a truck race as you could hope for. What a dramatic finish, what action we saw all night long. And guess what's next? Bristol, baby. It's going to be a great night there as well.
134 laps, 3 drivers led at least 32 laps, and none of them won the race.
And somebody raced their way in that was on the outside looking in, and that was Ben Rhodes. Congratulations. Christian Eckes picks up the big win tonight for Phil Parsons, Trevor, Michael Waltrip, Jamie Little. Thank you for being with us. Joel Klatt Show is next.